What I'm not going to do is censor myself and or not talk about the real issues. Okay?
Just you asking that question, you sound ignorant as hell. Because there are plenty black construction workers making 42, less than 42, work hard as hell. Okay?
Work harder.
Chill. See, that's
To not be a victim means to fight. To not be a victim means to have some strength and some courage and some character. And we're not seeing that. We're seeing black men cry about the system. We're seeing black men cry about the lack of education that they're getting and the education that black women are getting.
And that's something that we don't think about when we're on these panels. We're thinking we're talking to a regular guy about a regular subject. Meanwhile, he's seething because he's thinking about all the rejection he's had in his life. And here's a woman that represents that rejection.
Because there's a divine order to this. So if you want a woman to submit to you, you need to submit to God.
That's
everybody has a role
so
in the madness.
If you're complaining about promiscuous women, stop promoting promiscuous women as desirable women, right?
They're the biggest consumers.
Don't hire. I mean, it's everything. The way that life works, supply and demand.
These are the white men that you all told me to go to their channel, that they're going to bash white women on their channel and talk about them in the way that y'all talk about black women. And I go on their channels and see that they're bashing black men on their channel.
The real question is the black woman ready for this type of leadership? Is she
negated
ready?
everything.
No, I did not. Listen.
Yes, you did.
You're saying I negated it because you don't want to hear that part.
Because there's no point in saying it.
What I'm not going to do is censor myself and or not talk about the real issues. Okay?
just you asking that question, you sound ignorant as hell. Because there are plenty black construction workers making 42, less than 42, work hard as hell. Okay?
Work harder.
Chill. See, that's I can.
To not be a victim means to fight. To not be a victim means to have some strength and some courage and some character. And we're not seeing that. We're seeing black men cry about the system. We're seeing black men cry about the lack of education that they're getting and the education that black women are getting.
And that's something that we don't think about when we're on these panels. We're thinking we're talking to a regular guy about a regular subject. Meanwhile, he's seething because he's thinking about all the rejection he's had in his life. And here's a woman that represents that rejection.
Because there's a divine order to this. So if you want a woman to submit to you, you need to submit to God.
That's
Everybody has a role
so
in the
if
madness.
you're complaining about promiscuous women, stop promoting promiscuous women as desirable women, right?
They're the biggest consumers.
Don't hire. I mean, it's everything. The way that life works, supply and demand.
These are the white men that you all told me to go to their channel, that they're going to bash white women on their channel and talk about them in the way that y'all talk about black women. And I go on their channels and see that they're bashing black men on their channel.
The real question is the black woman ready for this type of leadership? Is she ready?
Everything.
No, I did not. Listen. You're saying I negated it because you don't want to hear that part.
Because there's no point in saying it.
Now it's like a conditioning thing and we kind of overlook it. But in the manosphere, in those spaces, they are blatantly disrespectful to black women, like disrespectful. And we continue to make them popular. Hey, y'all. Hello. Chaos. Yes, I do content. Yes, Chaos. He's like, let me highlight Chaos comment for a minute because I'm gonna talk about this. First of all, you spell my name all kinds of wrong, okay? Tawana, okay? But anyway, Chaos. Yes, I do content. Now, let me tell you this, okay? Because that's a very valid question. Okay, I've not been live in a while, but every Sunday I literally had something planned that conflicted with the time. And so I've been on other shows. I don't know. Yeah, I've been in these YouTube streets. I just have not went live on my own channel because I was like, no, if I go live, I need the content to be right. Like I want to have a specific topic. I just didn't want to just go live and not really prepare. So yes, Chaos Rain, I am still going to go live. Okay, Sundays is still my day. But I'm allowed to take a little break. I had parties, I had all kinds of stuff. I'll tell y'all about that later. Right now, you can't share your good news on YouTube. Lord have mercy, Lord forbid I start sharing my good news. But yes, I had some stuff going on, family. And so thank you, Mahogany. Welcome, Mahogany. She said I look pretty. I appreciate that. All the compliments I can get, I'll appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. Okay, I said it was a typo. Okay. All right. I'll give you a pass. Thank you so much for joining, Chaos. Thank you, Anna, my sister from another mister. That's my girl. She is laughing at the intro video because her and Freezy was going at it. It is funny. I love that part. That's why I was like, you got to put that part in it. Yes, I yes, I share nothing on YouTube. Exactly. So, my real circle, y'all know what's been going on with me. But yes, it's been all positive things, y'all. I literally just had some conflicting days, and it was like, I'm just not going to go live. Like every week it was something else that I had to do that Sunday. So I was thinking about changing my day, but I was like, oh, I like Sundays. I like to do the vibe out on Sundays too. But let me tell y'all, this Lori Harvey situation, it just got me. I have to talk about it, right? Because I've been reading all this social media content. I've been hearing everybody on Lori Harvey give their opinions on both sides. And so I've been trying to just kind of get an idea of why y'all mad, sis? Like, tell me why you mad. Like, I don't know if y'all heard that song by Left Cheek, Right Cheek. But tell me why you mad, sis. I really need to hear that. Like, I need to know why y'all so obsessed and so upset with her. Like, it's been anger that's just kind of like a little spooky to me. But I'm gonna talk about this because I really feel like I know the reasons why y'all so obsessed with her. And it's mostly men. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude. I know there is some women who also are kind of bashing her as well. So I'm talking to them too. I'm just saying that the situations and some of the comments that I've seen are mostly from women. Hey, clicks and views. Welcome, honey. Oh my gosh. She says, yes, she loves you, Annalicia. Oh my God. Yeah. Annalicia, yes. Clicks and views. Welcome. Thank you so much. Freezy. What? How did I miss Hey, Freezy. Yes. Tell them to hit the like button. Do not forget to subscribe if you have not already. I have a very interesting panel. I cannot wait to introduce them. Y'all don't understand. Like, I want powerful women to just talk about this topic. I'm definitely going to open up the panel and let whoever come in chime in. But I really want y'all to kind of hear the discussion from the women who, we've observed everything that's been happening in these YouTube spaces. And we've been not even just YouTube, on social media in general, Facebook, IG, just some of the backlash that Lori has received, some of the she's been praised in some cases, but for the most part, there's a lot of negativity around her and Michael B. Jordan separating or possibly ending their relationship. I will say that nothing has been confirmed from either one of them as far as like the reason why the relationship ended or whatever. I think everybody's just speculating at this point. Because I was looking like, okay, we, because everybody telling us why they ended their relationship. I really want to know from them why the relationship ended, if it was a real relationship anyway. Because I'm still in that theory that it could be, like they could be just doing this for publicity. But we're gonna go with the whole idea that this is a real relationship. Lori Harvey is just out here. She dating all these high value quality men, and y'all got a problem with it. So before I get started into my opinion about this, I want to introduce my panel because they're waiting behind the stage. You've seen her before on this show, and I just love her because her perspective, it like in my brain, I'm just like, that's exact, like, yes, yes. And you can see her on the Ladies Room podcast on Wednesdays, and I'm sure she's gonna talk about it. Y'all gotta give her some love, Miss Cannon Hill. Hey, honey.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm ready to get
thank you for coming. I love your perspective. You always bring it, always. And I know that you got a lot to say about Lori Harvey in this situation, because it's just been blowing up on Facebook everywhere. And I actually have some comments that I'm gonna read that were just really interesting, to say the least. So you guys have never seen this person before. This is my best friend, y'all. Like, I'm talking about like 20 plus years of friendship. And I think people, they get so confused in these spaces because they say women don't get along. And I have girlfriends that I've been knowing for 30 years, 20 years. Like, I just don't listen to what people say in these spaces, y'all, because it's so capped. But I want y'all to meet my real life a little bit, like, because I got to protect my people from y'all, because listen, because I've been in, I'm gonna set it off. Y'all mess with my real people, like, for real. But I'm gonna bring my girl up because this is like my best friend, my baby's godmother, my ride or die, my roommate, my college, like everything you can think of. This is my girl. Welcome, Jen, to the show. Hi, Jen.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Tawana, you look so cute. First of all, I'm like, I'm so proud of you, and I'm just looking at you like, look how cute you are. I would be live, but I'm doing a twist out right now, so I didn't really want everybody to see what was going on.
No.
But hi, everybody.
They don't need to see you. They
not right now.
Your beautiful picture is enough. And
Thank you, ma'am.
What you gonna say about Lori is gonna be enough. We'll have that. But I have some more women joining, but a little later. And I really want to hear y'all thoughts too, because like this was a controversial thing. Everybody was commenting. I mean, it was mainstream news outlets commenting on Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan's separation. I'm like, did they get married? Like, what happened? Because I was just really shocked that it took that much of a dominant role in like the news, but we were all invested and we all had opinions about it. And I think we definitely need to like talk about it a little bit more. I have some questions for the ladies. But I do want to talk about it exactly, Anna. Women get along. I don't know. People they put this stuff out there like, oh, women don't get along. No, some women don't. Some women don't, but there's women, like real women, who we get along. Like, I don't know what to tell people, but I think that's a common misconception about women. So here's what I want to say about this. I have a lot to say. The first thing that I want to say is that the reason why I think that so many people are so upset is because they think that Lori Harvey will somehow influence the masses. Like, they really think that she has a significant impact where Black women will start to say, okay, these men are not good enough for me, right? Like, I don't need, like, I can just move past these men. I can just play, like, I can just date whoever I want to date, keep it moving. Like, they somehow see her as like she has these standards that are unrealistic, and she's making women think that it's okay to have these unrealistic expectations of men. Um, and so I think that men are afraid that they're not going to be good enough for women. So they're using her as like this martyr, like, okay, we're going to go after her so that women don't even try it, right? That women don't even think that they have an opportunity to have a man that is like, that they can just reject or whatever. So some women just don't need a man just because. I know the argument is that Michael B. Jordan, he's 6 feet, he's wealthy, he's handsome. Like, he checks every box that some of these women claim that they want. And so for them, it's like, what in the hell is wrong with Lori Harvey? I mean, he's the perfect catch. And he's, I guess, seemingly a good man to everyone. So for them, she should have, I mean, why did she reject him? Like, what is wrong with her? She should be desperate for marriage, right? We have this idea that Black women or Black love is the goal. Like, oh, Black love. And then we put it on this high pedestal. And because we put it on this high pedestal and it doesn't go the way we envision, we really take it personally. Like, we do. I mean, do we not just think that maybe she don't think they're compatible? like is it wrong to just assume that maybe she just didn't think they were compatible and she decided to move on? I hear people say she wasted his time. They were only together for a year. I mean, how long do it take you to vet and learn someone and figure out if they're right for you? I don't understand. Like, why are we making it almost a crime just to break up with somebody? Like, she's 25. I'm seriously trying to rationalize this in my mind. So, not sure why men don't understand that a woman who is 25, fit, friendly, and beautiful, all the things that y'all claim y'all want, she has options. She has a lot of options, y'all. I mean, this is what a woman with option look like. Lori Harvey, a woman with options. And she don't even have just regular options. Like, she dates wealthy men who are also beautiful. Like, she dates beautiful, wealthy men. She can date whoever she wants. So I don't know if y'all don't understand that when a woman is beautiful, and when she is fit and all the things that y'all want in a woman, like, they're gonna have a lot of options and they don't owe us anything. They owe us no explanation. She doesn't have to tell us why she don't want to be with Michael B. Jordan. She doesn't have to marry him just because he was nice to her. She doesn't have to give us any kind of explanation as to why she don't want to be with this man. She told him. Clearly, she told him. And I think that's all that needs to be said. I just think we're being a bit dramatic. Like, she broke up with someone. She's no longer interested in him for whatever reason. I don't, what's the big deal? So I guess I'm going to get what's the big deal from everybody else. And then I'm asking this, like, let's be realistic. Like, how many people did we date before we found the one? Because, like, I know that it takes a few frogs before you get the prince. So, I mean, is it like unheard of that she would be dating? And I know she's a popular figure. So it's more, I guess it's just more obvious that she's dating all these people. But do you not understand that people date when they're intentionally trying to meet someone and fall in love, and like, you date multiple people? And you may date for a year, and then you're like, I don't know about this. This, it's not gelling right. Let me move on. Like, do you think you can vet someone in the first 6 months? Like, do you know people lie? People change. People are, do you not understand that it takes time sometimes to like see through people? And I don't know. I just think that like, I don't understand what she did wrong. So let's talk about that. Like, I really want y'all to tell me why she did wrong. She left the relationships. She's not dealing with whomever, Future, right? She used to date Future. Everybody talks about that. She didn't have his baby. She's leaving the relationship. She's not having children. She is just moving without any ties to these people. So why exactly do y'all have a problem? That's what I just want to know. Like, please put it in the chat. Am I missing something? Black women are chastising her when Michael B didn't get married at 25 years. I don't get it, y'all. Here's what I think. They want us to be punished for our bad dating choices. Like, there's men out here that truly feels like she should have had Future's 15th child. Like, she should have been his 18th baby mama. Like, there is people who truly do not want her to level up and meet somebody like a Michael B. Jordan after she dated somebody like Future, because Future lowered her status to them. So the fact that she has options, they're like, how she get options? I'll tell you how, because y'all unrealistic. Y'all don't live in the real world. This is the real world. People do not care about what your expectations are about who they're dating. They're going to date whoever they want to date. And she's a beautiful woman. She's not going to fall. She's not going to not have options. She's just not. I don't care how much y'all bash her. Y'all call her ugly hoe, whatever y'all want to call her. It doesn't matter. It's somebody out there. The next wealthy, rich man is going to want to be with her. And so I just don't. So this is what I would say. I think that you guys think that Lori, along with other women, y'all think that we should praise men and be grateful just that there's a man who wants us. Like, it's like, oh my God, you need to accept this proposal because this man wants you. And it's hard for Black women to get married. So she can't make a decision for herself not to be with somebody that she doesn't feel compatibility with. Like, I don't think that we have to tolerate everything just to have a man in our life. Like, if she's not happy, she don't want to be with him. She's 25. She don't have any children. She is like, she's dating, not having children. She should be like an example. Like, you know what? If you're going to date, at least don't tie yourself to nobody. Don't worry about, you can walk away and nobody don't even have to know that you dated this person ever. Really, it's not even an issue. She dated Future and didn't get pregnant. Come on, how many women have done that? He got how many baby mamas? He get every woman pregnant that he touched. Okay, she's a smart woman. She know what she doing. And what I find ironic about y'all, because I'm gonna let the panel talk, but what I found ironic is that Nick Cannon on his 15th baby. And where is the outrage from the Black men in the community for this man who is like having children all over the place? Y'all ain't saying nothing about Nick Cannon. It's cool. Like, let Nick, he rich, so he can have all the kids he wants. So we gonna praise that degenerate behavior and then get mad at Lori for not wanting to date somebody when she is a beautiful woman with multiple options. I'm just trying to make it make sense, y'all. Like, please make this shit make sense to me, because I'm telling y'all sound like some crazy people in these social media spaces where y'all don't live in a real world where people, I mean, you date people. You date people so you can find out what type of people they are and you can get rid of them before you make a commitment that is supposed to be forever. Like, who wants to go through a divorce? I went through it. It's not fun. It's not, oh, yeah, girl, just get it, just get married because you can always divorce. No, 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 no. Don't get married and even think about getting a divorce because it is the worst thing you can go through. So I'm just trying to figure out why our culture is so corrupt. Like, we don't even treat people with decency, common decency and human. Like, she is just a young girl who broke up with a man and she's being called every name in the book. I have seen y'all call her 304s, stupid, she ain't nothing, don't marry black women. Well, Lori did this. Why do black women got to be included? I'm confused as to why we generalize our own selves more than anybody else. We blame every other race. They generalizing me because I'm black. Y'all do it to each other worse than anybody else. So this whole Lori Harvey thing, I just had to give y'all my 2 cents before I let the ladies chime in. And I really want to read the comments because y'all been going in. Dating is a part of the problem. What? Dating is a part of the problem? Explain this, Rilla. I really need to hear what you got to say about this. But let me bring my girl. I have one more young lady coming on. Okay, I didn't talk enough, and she didn't came on because she was always gonna be late, but she didn't came on, which is great. Hi, Raven. What's up?
Hi, hey ladies, how's it going?
It's going well, girl. Listen, I had to go off about this, Lori. I didn't went down the list. I just had to go off about this, okay? And he said we spend too much time on celebrity gossip. Okay. Well, that's what this is about. So I don't know. You might not like it today. Is this what we're gonna be talking about? This? I mean, at the end of the day, we're gonna be talking about the treatment that she received. It's not about the gossip. I don't care who she broke up with. It's about the way she was received, the way people talked about her because she broke up with Michael B. Jordan. Like, I'm trying to make it make sense in my brain and make it, is it more to it that she just broke up with somebody? Like, I just need to understand. And Freezy said, no, she shouldn't be called a 304 just because she turned Michael B. Jordan down. Right. So I want all of you all, like all the ladies, to give y'all 2 cents. Like, I really want to know, what do y'all think people are so upset with Lori Harvey for making a decision to break up with Michael B. Jordan? Do you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I don't think that they're upset because she broke up with Michael B. Jordan, right? I have been trying to figure out for the longest why this at this moment in time people do seem to be so super fixated on this particular celebrity's dating history and this particular celebrity, what she's doing, the way that they are. Because I mean, all of them are dating. All like when you look at like all their long dating histories, like even just looking into it, I'm like, oh, they dated this person too, and this person too, and like all of them are all dating each other, right? And like you said, they're in their 20s. I think she was engaged for the first time when she was 20 years old or something like that to like a soccer player or something.
Oh, Lori Harvey was?
Yeah. Okay. And it's just like,
engaged.
But it boils down to, see, the thing is, you're trying to make sense along the lines of trying to make sense out of what they're saying, right? But the way to make sense of it is to understand that a lot of it is rooted in shame, right? And think about a lot of the things that we're told. I even saw, shout out to Rilla in the chat. I even just saw Rilla in there. You know, he just said, Lori Harvey can do what she wants until she's Vivica Fox, right? It's that fear It's that fear mindset to try to tell, to try to scare women into, you're going to be lonely and alone. You better hurry up and get this man that wants you, because if you don't, you can't do this, right? And I think it's because we don't even know who all she's dated and hasn't dated. First of all, we just know what the blogs and everything reports on, because a lot of them on both sides haven't even come out to verify actually dated. Like I think Michael B. Jordan did. Outside of that, I don't know who else besides Future even acknowledged that they were actually dating. And she don't ever come out and say nothing. She says nothing about anything. So we really don't know where she's coming from with it either. But I think a lot of it is, they tell us, she, like you said, she's supposed to have less value. She has less value now. No one's supposed to want her. She's a pass around. She's all of these things. Like, I mean, and like I say, I can't think of any reason why she would be all of that. Is Kendall Jenner that? Like, is all of these other people that's dating all of these people, are they that? But we just hyper focused and decided to get laser focused on her because she's a racially ambiguous looking Black girl is all I could think of, and also that she does have that pretty privilege. She does have that, she has that status and she comes from money. We have issues with it. It's a whole lot of people. Like, you got your Beehive on one side, but then you got your dedicated Beyonce. Hey, they just hate them some Beyonce, and a lot of that comes from sometimes we feel like people are too high up here. You want to knock them back down. You're not all of that. Who do you think you are? You know what I mean? Like, let me
tell me why she's not as valuable. I mean, in your opinion, to our community. Why?
Well, they are saying that because it goes back to the thread of the conversations that we always have. What's that lock and key analogy? A key that open many locks and the keys, and it goes back to all of that stuff that I don't even feel like relitigating. But it's because women are constantly told, I was thinking about this lyric. You remember that song T.I. did with what's his name? Jamie Foxx. And with Taraji P. Henson was in the video, and it was like, she just like me. It was like that song. And he said, I can make her better, though. You gonna let him ruin you. Right? It's that thought. Like, oh, I'm dating people, you dating people, but no, I'm gonna bring her value up. He gonna bring your value down, right? And why? Just because I said so? Because I don't want you doing what I'm doing. You can't do what I'm doing. So I'm going to continue to try to shame you and tell you why you can't do it. Like, no. And so her ultimate goal is supposed to be trying to get married, which is insane, right? Because I've been saying for the longest, if we were also teaching the boys the same thing, then it wouldn't be as big of a problem. But why are we teaching girls and boys such drastically different things as though it makes sense? Like, Black women, we don't know how to date. We don't date. We cling. We cling from relationship to relationship because we want to keep our body count down. Because we don't want to look like that. We don't want to like this. This got to be my boyfriend, and I got to hold on to him because I can't get with somebody else. We do that. But so for her, she represents, because I say they just decided to cling on her randomly because, again, all of these Hollywood people is dating each other. So I don't know what makes her so different than everybody else who's doing it. I still don't really know. But for whatever reason that they decided to seize on her in particular as an example, I guess they feel like they have to bring that back down. And what was crazy to me is I literally saw comments from men that I know personally, right, that womanizing, ain't trying to get married, trying to do none of this stuff, right? Talking about some, oh, so what's the point of dating now? What's the point of dating now if it's not married? I'm like,
what is the point of dating? Wow.
And it's disingenuous, and they hold women, or they attempt to hold women to this standard that's all the way up here in the sky while simultaneously holding themselves to this down here. And I think it's frustrating to a lot of them, and you can even kind of sense the frustration in the conversation. It's almost like a panic. They're like, no, she's a 304. No, she a pass around. No, you gonna be old and alone. It's like they try to throw everything at you or something. It's like, no, just be better people. be emotionally intelligent, and be a person that people like to be around and be in relationships with. It's not that difficult. You don't have to, go around trying to shame people and scare them into being with you. Like you don't have to do it.
You
So
won't. Yeah.
so yeah. So I mean, again, like the on his face is really not that deep. I don't understand why they have clinged on to this particular girl for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, as far as that goes, too, what's super interesting to me, and I've tested this numerous times, right? The same men who say these types of things are the same men that prior to uh Kanye West and Kim Kardashian breaking up, prior to her breaking up, they may feel a little bit differently now. I'm not sure now. But when she was still with him, they didn't have none of that same commentary toward her. Her and Kanye West got married when she was got engaged when she was on her 33rd birthday.
That's right.
After she had her baby at 32. This was her third marriage, right? Like why ain't nobody looking at her like she was a pass around in the industry and all of this other? She have a whole tape. She has a whole tape out, and do you know what the commentary would be when I would bring her up? Well, but she's a shrewd businesswoman. She was able to, in a way that I would never hear a Black woman being discussed with similar credentials. So, I mean, it's Janor. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
I think that's an interesting point you brought up, because I do wonder why there's no grace for Black women, and why we do extend grace to women like Kim Kardashian and things like that, like people who have demonstrated a history of sleeping with multiple men, doing crazy stuff, and they've been able to transform and change their image. But Lori Harvey, who, like, I mean, she doesn't even have a scandal out. I mean, she's dated these high profile guys, but for the most part, she is a beautiful woman who's 25, who's living her best life. And I don't understand.
And none of these guys come out and say anything negative about her afterwards either. Like, they aren't saying anything negative about her. So why are you?
Yeah, I just think it's interesting. But what you think, Jen? Why do you think that people are so mad about this Lori Harvey situation?
Well, I think she kind of broke the mold. Men have this idea, well, men and women just kind of have this idea that, you're young, you date, you settle down. And the fact that she's young, she's dating, she's not ready to settle down is just outside of the box for so many people. Like, how dare you be 25 and not want marriage right now? Like, that's crazy. And it's so interesting, like the comments, how many people were so heated. Like, maybe it brought up some things that happened to them personally, because the way that Black men attacked this young Black woman was so disgusting. And I mean, men who I know, that I'm just like, wow. And just things like, well, she's a runner, she deserved that. And it's like really, and a lot of comments really were just kind of like, she might be doing this now, but when she get 35, ain't nobody gonna want her, she not gonna be able to have kids. And it's like, well, I'm sure a lot of men will still want her at 35, and she may very well be able to have kids if she wants them. Maybe she doesn't want them. And so it's just people's perception of what somebody should be doing, and the fact that she didn't do what they thought. People looked at her, and a lot of men probably did look at her like she's a pass around. She dated Future, she dated Diddy's son, she dated Diddy. I mean, she dated. She's not obligated to one person. She's not married. This is the time, if any, to date at 25 years old. I wish I would go back to meet at 25 and tell myself, this is the time to do it. Like, why are you trying to meet one person and settle down for the rest of your life at 25? And and Cannon was right. We meet people, and we meet men we don't know how to date. We cling on to them, and we miss out possibly on other opportunities. And I think for her, I mean, she dated a lot of guys. She got with this guy that was perceived to be like this wonderful guy. Oh, it's Michael B. Jordan. He's so this, he's so that. But maybe it wasn't what she wanted. So I think it was so mature of her at her age, 25, to kind of be like, you know what? This is not really what I want. So I'm going to get out of this. And people really do get like kind of thrown off when women are the ones who say, you know what, this is not what I want. I want to try something else.
That's
We
right.
have options. And it's just crazy just the amount of hate that she got for just being like, you know what, this is not working for me. I'm out. Michael B. Jordan wouldn't have gotten the same amount of hate if he would have decided, you know what, this isn't quite working out for me. I want to try something else. And so it was pretty disgusting to see men, grown men older than her, like calling her the names that they called her just because she made a decision to live her life
Yeah.
the way she wanted to live her life.
You brought up some very interesting points. And I mean, obviously, that is what's going on. I think that a liberated woman is maybe a threat to men. I think they really want all women to be desperate for marriage and desperate for companionship. And if you're not, and if they seemingly feel like you're moving in a direction that is not aligned with getting married or even caring about that, then I think they feel threatened. I do. I think that they feel threatened, and then they use this fear tactic that Cannon brought up. They use that fear tactic to kind of instill this mentality, or because a lot of women, they care about what men think. So if a man is calling you a slut for doing certain things, if he's shaming you for dating, or if he's shaming you for having options, multiple men, then a lot of women like will not want to do those things, because they do want to be more like appease men. They want to appease men. And so it's working. Right? Men do this, and it works. But shout out to Joanna. Joanna said, I think if Michael broke up with her, they would still have dogged her.
They may have. And I did see someone commented about like just the men that dogged her, but women did too. And some women did, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it may have been for the same reasons that she exercised her options, that she didn't settle. I think that women, and I can speak for a lot of women, when we get, like we just said, we don't date well. We get
Yeah.
with one guy and we stick with them, and they do things that we don't like, and in the back of our minds we're like, you know what, let me just stick this out. I've already invested these many years, and what will people think if I leave? What if I can't find a man? And so she did what a lot of us have been afraid to do. Was she was like, you know what, this is not working, I'm about to leave this and try my options somewhere else. So I
She was
think a
like,
lot of,
he's 6 feet, fine and whatever, but I don't want him.
yeah, I don't want them. Yeah, exactly. This is not working for me. On to
She's
the
like, I don't want him.
next. No, thank you.
Somebody else can have him since y'all so thirsty for him. And the women who want him, he's not probably even interested, because I know that he didn't even have an attraction to black women, like in general. I mean, and if he does, it's going to be a woman who's more of a preference for them, not like a light skinned woman. They got, so a lot of y'all don't qualify. All of the ones that was like, ooh, I take Michael B. Jordan since he's single. He don't want y'all. Like, it's time for us to start being realistic about men who actually want us versus the ones who don't. Stop it, because I mean, you praising him and saying how good looking he is, and Lori should have been this, that, and it's not gonna make you get chosen no quicker. It's not. But hey, Raven girl, what you think?
I love what you said. I love what all you ladies have said. To the point about the fear mongering, I've just started asking them, are they clairvoyant? Because how do you know she's going to regret it? Or do you know the future? If you don't know the future, then you don't know she's going to regret it when she turns 35. Or even if she wants to be married, she could be on her Oprah time. Y'all don't know. But to the point that I was going to make, she could still want to get married. They only dated for a year. I watched his interviews before they dated, and he talked about how he was always emotionally unavailable. If you are dating an emotionally unavailable man, it doesn't sound like it's going to be a good marriage to me, especially if he's got money and status. That means he's going to be less likely to want to be emotionally available. So I think she did what people say we should do, which is vet. She dated him for a year. It didn't work out. She moved on. I don't know what the issue is.
You know exactly what the issue is, Raven.
I'm trying not to put it on. I'm trying to let them come up with their own little feelings or whatever. I'm not going to say what I've been reading, but it's, No, but I will say we need to keep it a buck, guys. Keep it a stack, a G, whatever you call it. I have been seeing men say that Lori Harvey is average, and they smash women that look like her all the time. Let's be realistic. Lori Harvey is not an average looking woman, and it's less likely that you are smashing in your little hood women that look like Lori Harvey all the time. So I think, although she may not be everybody's cup of tea, let's not be crazy here. I think, to your point, Cannon, they are trying to nag her. Like, now she's an average looking woman. This woman has a modeling contract. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, I mean, she posted a video. I mean, she posted a photo of herself like the same day, I think, like with a goat, right? And she just still didn't comment on it. She never comments on anything. It's like, this girl don't care what y'all out here losing y'all minds about. Like, just let it go. Like, you're not gonna be able to. But the thing is, it's like they do the same thing even now to this day still with Sierra, right? But it's like they get to feel like she has a blemish on her from Future because she actually has Future's child. And then they try to make it the issue with Russell about Russell being around a child. And now is evolved from that being the issue because we now know that Future have people chasing him down, in the courts just to prove that he's the father of children. So they can't try to pretend like he's the father of the year anymore for all these broken households. So now it's transformed into, oh, she's dancing out here, God forbid a performer would dance while she's married. She's it's like they still want to keep their talking points, and they want to keep women in these boxes, and they want you to have a scarcity mindset, and it's about control and getting what they want. And so, and I think, again, you said that it's working. I think that it has worked. I think that it's still more effective than it needs to be, but I think it's becoming less effective, which is why I think that they're losing their minds. Like, it's like throwing everything at the wall to see what's going to stick now at this point, right? So, yeah.
Explain the scarcity mindset for everybody who may not know, like, what that means. Because I think a lot of times we talk about it, but we don't give the language to, like, so people can understand. Like, we know what the tactic is. We understand what y'all doing. Like, we put language to it now. We've assigned words so we can be able to explain this to women so women can see what's happening. Because I think a lot of women fall for manipulation. Not all, obviously. It's a lot of us like, yeah,
like,
okay.
No.
Try that again. But there is some of us who are, we do second guess ourselves and think, maybe I won't find another man. Maybe I do need to like a lot of women, probably even in the chat right now, really feel like, well, what will happen if I truly start to have standards and expectations and boundaries for myself, So tell people what the scarcity, mindset is.
The scarcity mindset is having the belief that certain things are finite. Like, there's a small selection of it, and you have to hurry up and go snatch it up before it's gone. As opposed to having an abundance mindset. When you have an abundance mindset, it's like you make better choices when you have an abundance mindset, because you are able to focus on what you need and what you want in the situation. And you're just able to make better choices. When you have a scarcity mindset, you're going to take whatever is coming to you because you feel like this might be the last chance. This might be.
Oh, it cut off. We'll wait till Miss Cannon come back.
It always does it right when she getting good. Do
right,
y'all remember?
She getting in there. But
do y'all remember when they called Aisha Curry for the streets for posting the bikini picture? Because honestly, that's what I was thinking about. I was like, this is just like when they did Aisha Curry. She got a cookbook, 17 kids. She been married for 36 years. She for the streets because she posted a bikini picture.
Do you know why? Do you know why they did that to Aisha Curry?
For nagging. They had to knock her down. She got too fine. Did you see the bikini picture?
No. they didn't start jumping on her like that until, I don't know if you remember, and I was going to bring her up too, when she did an interview or something, and they were they asked her some kind of question, and this woman was being honest and transparent. And all she said was something like, you know, sometimes it could feel a little intimidating, something that she said. And she was like,
she felt like she wasn't sexually attractive anymore.
She
felt like she wasn't sexually attractive anymore.
Well, no, she was talking about how it can affect
it was
her
when she said that she likes she doesn't get attention. So Stephen Curry, because of his notoriety
status and everything, he gets all of this attention and all of this stuff. And she was saying that on the flip side, because she's his wife, right? Specifically because she's his wife, she won't get any of that. And she was just like, you know, sometimes you want to know that you know, attractive and this and that. And they ate this woman alive like she was out here displaying her body parts for everybody to jump in them. And but it's like, it's about that ego, and it's about them not wanting that competition, and it's about them trying, like, you know, like, no, you get back over there. We are not having no kind of competition. We don't want no kind of threats to, you know, what we have going on. So no, we don't want to hear it. We don't want no parts in it. And she didn't even say anything that was crazy or wrong, but that's why they started going in on her after that. Like, just pay attention to who they choose to hone in on and for what reasons they get hyper focused on them about. And it's like, because they feel like that's a threat to the man's ego or his masculinity some kind of way, right? But this woman just having an honest human moment. Like, anybody would feel like that. Literally anybody would feel like that. But she's not allowed to feel like that because she's hurting her man's ego some kind of way.
Yeah, and I want to answer this question Freezy posed, but I want Anna to answer too first and let me know, like, why do you think? And welcome, Anna girl, to the show, honey. This is, listen.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, this is Black Women.
Oh, good evening. Hello, everybody.
Hey, honey. So why do you think, Anna, what do you think they so mad about, like, with this Lori Harvey situation?
I think that, first of all, I think that Black men specifically, I think a lot of men think like this, but it's more pervasive in the Black community. And I think that they don't think outside or beyond themselves, first and foremost. You know, women are just objects to them, to be used, to be discarded, to be needed by, you know, for them to be needed by us. So I think there are several things that are happening. Someone said in the comment section that Black women just need to stop worshiping Black men. And this is the part of the problem, right? Historically, Black women have stood beside Black men. Black women have accepted the behavior. They've accepted the failures, accepted the lack of ambition. They've accepted the mediocrity. And so as a result, they're sort of looking at this beautiful woman and they're saying, well, like, what are you doing? Like, what's how you're supposed to worship the ground that we walk on? What's wrong with you? It's partially that. It's partially also, I feel, a lot of these men, they aspire to be the Michael B. Jordans of the world. Some of them, the futures of the world. Some of them want to be even bigger pookies than they already are. But I think that, I think the problem is they also want women like Harvey to be attainable, which they never would be. They never would be, right? But they're thinking to themselves, okay, because remember, most of these guys don't have their fathers. That's just a reality. So they're looking up and they're saying, hey, she doesn't like the Pookie and Ray Ray. She did Pookie. She didn't like him. She got the educated lane, you know, the suit wearing educated Black man and the Michael B. Jordan. Didn't like him. Had the billionaire Diddy. Didn't like him. So now a lot of them are saying to themselves, well, damn, what do you want? What do you like? So they can't pin her down. They can't figure it out. And anything that a person doesn't understand, they are afraid of. They're lashing out, I think, out of fear that women are sort of, you know, there's a cultural movement going on, I hope, where women are saying, oh, no, it's nice to have you, but I don't need you because I can make bread and I can be happy and I can, you know, self-love. I can take care of myself and I can be okay and I can run a business. And I think especially in the Black community where Black men are already sort of
already have a very shaky relationship with their masculinity as a result of, slavery and the implications of that. They already have a shaky relationship with their self-esteem. They're already sort of running on most of them with a very sort of low undertone of narcissism, some of them sociopathy. So I think that for them, it's like a punch in the gut, and they didn't see it coming. They just thought that, Black women are always going to go along to get along, always going to worship the ground that they walk on. Black women are always going to need them, always going to want them, and we don't have to bring anything to the table. And now somebody like Lori is saying, well, you know what? They don't understand why she's not picking one of these men. Black men have a very myopic mind and way of thinking, very egocentric, like a child. And so they're thinking, we're the prize. Michael B. Jordan is a prize. Some of them think Future is a prize. It's like, you can't make this stuff up. You really can't. Some of them think Nick Cannon is a prize. That's a buck. He's a plantation buck, nothing more, nothing less.
That's right.
So that's my opinion. It's fear, it's myopia, it's low grades of narcissism, it's the ego that they don't understand, and there's a cultural shift, hopefully. And I would like to say that she's not with prizes either. So I don't really have a reaction, because none of the men that she was with, in my estimation, they're not a prize. Exactly. So like, do your thing. It doesn't matter to me.
Exactly.
Did you guys realize that socially, men in general are more dependent on intimate relationships than women are socially? And do you want to know the reason why?
Yeah, tell me why.
Sorry, say that again, Cannon?
That men tend to be more dependent on their intimate relationships than we are as women when we're in a relationship. And so I think that that's what a lot of it is stemming from as well, right? Because women tend to keep larger networks of relationships and things like that than men do. So when we are in relationships, we tend to have those larger networks still intact, but they tend to rely on the relationship with us as a partner more. And they rely on us more for being that sounding board. They rely on us more for that emotional support and those types of things, when we rely on them some too, but we also have those other relationships that we can kind of spread it out about. So to me, it's like clinging to that. It's like they like, no, like, you get over here and you get in this box where I put you at, and you do for me what I need you to do, right? Like, I feel like that's what a lot of it is grounded in as well, because as much as they try to, but it's like trying to have a trick, right? It's like trying to trick you into being like, no, you're the one who really wants this relationship. No, you're the one who needs to be with me. Like, you need to be here. Like, you want this bad. You need to be here. This is, it's like that we try to do reverse psychology, right? And it's like, no, actually, you benefit a lot from having a good woman in your life. And that's just the reality of it. You live long.
Aren't they being taught to be pickup artists though? Because I know that a lot of manosphere is rooted in teaching men how to be pickup artists and how to learn how to kind of manipulate, coerce, like change a woman's thinking and mentality, and like make her interested in you when she typically wouldn't be, right? Like, so a lot of men study this. This is like an actual, so this is what's being done in for the most part. So some women are susceptible and actually are falling for the pickup artistry mentality. Like they're falling for it, and it's working on some of them, unfortunately. I mean, you can see them in the comments actually agreeing with the men and saying how she should be praising Michael B. Jordan. She can't find no man like him. He's 6 feet fine, and she should be on, kissing his toes and ready to get married. So I want to ask this question.
I think.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, can I say one thing to that?
Yeah, go ahead, Anna.
I also think that people need to realize, men and women, that marriage is a social currency for men, just like it is for women. You see, women want to be picked and women want to be married, and the way picket. it's the same sort of thing for men, right? There is a social status that comes along with it. There are doors that sometimes political doors, like you couldn't be the president unless you were married. There's a reason that marriage as an institution has so much value in this society, in the Western world. And so men as well as women place a lot of importance on the institution. Well, not all men. We know what men don't, but generally speaking, men, affluent men, they do put a lot of stock into marriage. You have the exceptions to the rules here and there, and they only get so far. And then the rest of the world kind of looks at them and wonders, like, why didn't it happen? What's wrong with you? Why don't you have kids? It's kind of the same way with men. So marriage is valuable to men as a group in the same way that it is for women, except for a lot more opportunities open up for men as a result of their marital status versus women. So there are differences in terms of why it's valuable, why it's important, why it's a currency, but they're absolutely there and they matter.
Thank you. And I want to get into that too, because I know that marriage benefits men. A lot of men talk about marriage as if it's a death sentence, as if like, oh my God, it's a chain, my old ball and chain. And like y'all are ball and chain, okay? Because we usually die quicker than y'all. I'm sorry, I can't even say that. But yeah, like when we're in marriages, you guys have better health. You're less stressed, you have more wealth and more resources. Like there's benefits to men being married, and women, we tend to have more stress and all kinds of other things that happen to us. So stop acting like y'all don't benefit. But here's the thing, and we can talk about some of the other benefits, because I know that there's like a laundry list of them, because a lot of times Black men especially, they act like marriage is not a benefit to them at all. There's no benefit, and there's studies to suggest
that's the trick.
Yeah, like that's the trick.
Like therein lies the manipulation,
yeah,
right?
Like,
yeah. So let me get this. Freezy says, is there any value in a Black man, Michael J, I guess he's talking about Michael B. Jordan, willing to commit in marriage anymore? Should Black men just look to smash?
See, these are the kind of disingenuous comments that I be talking about. This right here. Like, what are you talking about?
For that though, he's gonna do it at some point.
But that's why I just look at it like, you're not gonna pee on me and tell me that it's raining. Like, stop. Exactly. Like, we not live in a culture where men just been lining up out here trying to run around marry women. They've been running around here trying to do everything in their power to smash. So what are you talking about?
Michael B. Jordan been dating for 10, 15 years before he met her with no pressure to get married. I've been watching his interviews all day.
He said, answer the question. He said, answer the question, y'all.
No, you're going to come up here and get the smoke.
But I mean, even then,
should everyone be a millionaire? Should everyone be a millionaire? Let's just ask ridiculous questions, since that's what we're doing.
But on all these places he went to be interviewed, Breakfast Club, I think he went to Sway in the Morning, Ellen, all these places, it was accepted for him to have a harem of women. Oh, you're this sex symbol. You got all these women at your disposal. And then he's emotionally unavailable? Why does Lori Harvey have to sacrifice her youth? All of a sudden, marriage is all this big old topic. It wasn't a topic before now. If she don't want to marry him, she doesn't have to. He could have married any of them. He dated Lupita. He could have married Lupita. She's a wonderful woman. Seemed like it. I don't know.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I think what people need to realize is, obviously marriage, generally speaking, is the objective, but if you're not ready for marriage, and it takes an introspective person, it takes a very intelligent person to realize what space they're in their life, because a lot of divorces end because you got married too fast in the first place, right? You didn't have conversations about finances. Finances became an issue. You got a divorce. You didn't have conversations, or you didn't know what personality differences you guys had. Somebody's a chronic cheater. You guys get a divorce. So rushing into marriage is not. It's suboptimal. At the end of the day, if someone is not ready for marriage, they should not be married. The last thing, if we're trying to cultivate good marriages that don't end in divorce, we shouldn't be rushing to the altar. There's no shotgun anymore. Nobody has to jump over a broom. It's 2022. Like, get with it.
Do you guys know what's even more interesting as a thing that happens in 2022 is that people will tend to, because people are becoming more progressive generally, like the younger generations coming up, right? People will tend to be more egalitarian in relationships when they're not married. Once they become married, somehow those strict ideas of gender roles and what the wife's supposed to do and what the husband's but seeps into that relationship. And again, it ends up putting the bulk of the emotional labor on the wife. It ends up putting the bulk of the domestic responsibilities on the wife, the child rearing, all of those things. So the question that I want to ask a lot of these guys is, do they hear themselves, right, when they're having conversations about what they even want in a wife or to have a wife, right? A lot of it comes from, oh, you have to be on my purpose. Oh, you have to do this. Oh, you have to do that. It's like, do you really think that that sounds appealing to another human being? Like, I really honestly want to know, do you hear what you're saying? Like, you think that I'm going to go run to go line up just so that I can serve somebody else for the rest of my life and be in service to all of their needs, hopes, and dreams, sexual proclivities? Why? Like, I could see if they were on here, you know, having conversations like, you know what, I want a partner for this reason, and we're going to be like this and that. But a lot of it is like, no, I want somebody to be in service with me. You my wife, so you going to do X, Y, Z. And then turning around being like, why are women running to line up to what's going on? Why aren't you? Why are you talking about marriage in this way? Like, why are you talking about it in this way? Like, that's not appealing. Like, that is not something any logical person is going to run to go do. Like, ooh, let me come serve you. Thank you. Like, what is going on?
And it's not even decent plans. Like, all serve you while you in the NFL. Can we get another Malcolm X? Another, not even Malcolm X, because, you know, he has some. But can we get another movement, another liberation going? Something.
So, Jen, what do you think about Freezy's question? So, should men just smash and pass on us, or should they not be proposing no more because Lori Harvey turned down the top of the line?
She's not the model. Every woman has a different need and want, and I think that when you date, you gotta. I mean, what are you dating for? Are you dating with the intentions on meeting someone to get married, to have children with, or are you dating because you just to pass the time? And if it's just to pass the time, then it's just to pass the time. But I think in both situations, communication is key. People have to be able to say what they want and to know when to, you know, kind of check out when it's not there. And so if
do it seem like they're trying to skip that step, Jen? Like, they want to just kind of, if they come with the 6 feet, the money, and they handsome, they just want you to say yes to whatever they bring to the table.
Well, we're supposed to though, because we don't have that many options. So that's where you have it now, because you've got these guys and they got the money, they come and they showing you like, I got all this, submit to me like right now. You don't even have to get to know me because I'm just showing you everything I bring to the table. How dare you not say yes? And so I don't think that just going around smashing is ideal. But if that's what a man wants to do, I think that he needs to just be clear with whoever he's with and vice versa. But if you really have the intentions on dating someone and really wanting to build a future, you really just have to be okay with what you want. I mean, Lori Harvey is 25 years old, and I go back to her because I see when people say, like, you know, all this non-commitment, like, where will this lead us, like, as a community, you know, all this non-commitment, and we're not in it for the long run, and we're not, you know, staying together, not committed. But at 25, that doesn't, just because she doesn't want to be married or be in a long-term relationship right now, doesn't mean that's not what she wants. And she has the option to do it at 30. She has the option to do it at 35. She has the option to do it at 40. She doesn't have to do it right now.
Yeah, I don't get the urgency. But I do want to say this to Freezy's question is that no, you absolutely shouldn't give up on marriage if marriage is a goal. But what you can't do is skip the step. You have to have the conversation with the person who you plan to be married with, because when you ask for someone's hand in marriage, the understanding should be clear. Like that's what you both want, that it's going to be a yes, that this is something that you both want for your future. And so if you're asking this question blindly and you don't know how this woman feels about marriage, or you don't know where like that means that you probably shouldn't be asking someone. So I think that you can't skip the conversation and the communication, right? Because you marry someone, you have to, like, I've been married twice, and I've had conversations both times. Nobody just sprung it on me. We talked about it and we knew that that's what we wanted. And so it was just kind of a matter of like waiting until, it was time, or until it was the right moment for us. But
aren't you dating to find out?
Right.
Want to marry this? Like, doesn't it take time to get to know this person? Isn't that what you're doing? Is it just like, oh, we've dated, so now there's a guarantee of marriage at the end? Isn't that that's like the exact opposite of what I think a lot of men would be saying? I'm not understanding. That's like, they don't think that if you date them, then now they owe you a marriage. So that's just weird that when it's coming from their perspective, if they are dating with and they want to marry you, then you just owe them a marriage at the end of this dating thing. The other part about
I do think that a lot of the perception, especially of American women, because even if you like talk to people who live out the country, the perception is that American women they truly desire marriage, and that we want marriage so badly that we literally will marry whoever asks us. And I think that is a perception that is kind of like,
that's all women, Rona.
Not all women.
That's most globally.
But do you know what's so
but
funny?
that's how we're viewed. I don't even think that it's true necessarily, but I think it's viewed that way, right? Maybe because of the romantic like comedies and
it's cultural.
Right.
Can you highlight Mr. Rucker's last comment? This is something that I want to pay attention to.
Yeah,
let's talk about that.
I definitely want to hit on that one too.
What's wrong with
So this is what the majority of people who are in this sort of like zeitgeist or people who are, have something to say about this culture that we're in, the ones that think like you, Mr. Rucker, this is why we have domestic violence. That's violent. That comment alone is violent, sir. This is why you're single. This is why you're going to remain single. Or you're going to be a part of the passport gang, and they're still not going to want to deal with you, prenup or no prenup. But here's the problem. What's wrong with control if that man has money? Really? Is that like that was a real question? That wasn't hyperbole. Right, and this is what Black men want.
I thought it sounded like a white slave owner to me.
Anna, this is my
point. Want to
These are the things that some of them are saying, but then if you turn around and say, you know what, I'm going to take care of myself financially, it's a problem. But you're like, why would you want to do that? Because of that. Why would that be something that any person would want? Like, why would a human want to be controlled by somebody for
money? That's financial abuse, sir. What's wrong with you?
I will say this, I'm going to say this, and not control, but there are a lot of women that would be in a relationship with control if a man was completely financially taking care of her. And I'm not speaking for myself, because I've been in a situation like that, and so I would not be in it again. But a lot of women, that's not that far-fetched for them to think, you know what, if a man has if he's in control and he's doing X, Y, and Z, but I don't have to work, I can go out and spend this money, I can do X, Y, and Z. For some women, that's not necessarily the worst life.
But the thing about that life is
hold on 1 minute. Hold on 1 minute, y'all. Shout out to E Black. Thank you, E Black. He wants us to share our stories, y'all. If we want, he wants us to share our stories about marriage.
Hold on, E-Black. This is important, because the thing about that lifestyle is, and I've been through. You said you went through it too, and you wouldn't do it again. There's a reason, right? And the same goes for me. So because there are strings attached, right? Not having autonomy is a problem in a relationship, and most successful relationships are egalitarian, exactly as Cannon said, or they're more collaborative, right? When one person is beholden to the other, it can become abusive very quickly. When a power imbalance or the pendulum swings too far left or right, especially in a relationship, it can be a problem, and it tends to be a problem. I haven't seen it. The studies don't bear it out where you see men of status and power and women who are not being abused in some manner, whether it's psychological, mental, financial, emotional. I haven't seen the studies bear that out. So while I can understand women who do want to lead that lifestyle, they should know, sort of do your homework, because it comes with strings attached. Nothing's for free. You're taking the credit card, you're swiping the credit card, you feel like the money is coming from, you don't know where it's coming from. It doesn't matter to you, but there are strings attached, and every swipe is a check on the board, because he's keeping score. People who seek out relationships to exploit their power or somebody else, the lack of power that somebody else might have, they're always keeping score. And these are people that you have to stay away from. So if that's the kind of life you want to live, cool, fine. Maybe if you, I don't know if there's a way to protect yourself financially, maybe if you have some insulation, family and friends around you to keep checks and balances and stuff like that. It's not ideal. It doesn't typically work. And that's why you see a lot of women who come out of it and they're like, okay, now I want to work. I want to have my own money. I don't want to spend your money anymore, because they've spent 20 years of doing that and they understand where it's got them. And now they want to be independent. Now they want to have autonomy. And then husbands are sort of beside themselves like, wait, what? You mean you want to have an identity separate from me? No. That's a problem.
But what's so interesting about a lot of these conversations that we have is that when we talk about the marriage rates, people need to learn how to interpret data again, right? Because when we talk about the marriage rates and how much they've dropped and they've fallen, does everyone realize that most Black women will actually be married by the time they're 45? Yes. The majority will be married by the time they're 45. What has happened with the marriage rates, when you look at them, is that people in general used to get married earlier. So the marriage rates are taken from age, I think 18, or maybe even be 15, some weird number like 15. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's some number like that to 30 something that they use to kind of gauge that. They're only looking in that group, right, to say, oh, it's fallen. But no, it's not necessarily fallen, it's delayed. We're just taking longer and waiting longer to get married. People are waiting until they become more financially stable, until they become better able to take care of their families and different things like that. I also saw that comment that you put up from Mr. Rucker about, women making their own money, and, good luck with that. He's saying that men are out here rich, and especially Black men, when Black men and Black women are earning around the same amount of money, but Black women are more employed than Black men are. So what are you talking about? What? That's what I'm saying. Like you say all of this stuff again, trying to scare somebody. But what are you scaring? The same thing.
But at the end of the day, Black women have to work, because you have no choice. You have to contribute to the household, especially if you want to marry a Black man, because most times you're not capable of paying for everything in the home without the assistance of your wife. So stop it, please. If you're gonna really be honest and say, you know what, I need my wife to work because she has to contribute to this household, especially if you have children, especially if you have other expenses. Your husband may be able to pay the mortgage and he may be able to pay for the utilities, but then you might have to help with groceries and children's care,
etc. Make it to the middle class because they're married, and their wife's income propels them into the middle class. So what kind of conversations are we really having? Right. What are we talking about?
So here's the thing. I mean, I guess I want to get into this question though, because I was going to let us go ahead and share, but I want to get into this question because I really want you guys to answer this. Do you think women should be held accountable for bad dating decisions? And if you do think that, yeah, but like what does accountability look like for that? Because I think the problem is that men in general think that we go out here, we make bad decisions, and we don't really take responsibility for those decisions. Like we just move on to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. So do you guys really think that women in general, like we should be held accountable for making bad dating decisions or for things that happen? I'm curious what y'all think about this question.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna answer your question, but then I'm gonna have to hop. I'm gonna have to hop off. But when we look at society and we look at culture and we look at biology, women are definitely held accountable for bad dating choices, right? We are the ones who bear the brunt of carrying a child for 9 months, right? You have to do that actual physical labor of doing that. 9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10 for a woman, dating a wrong man could be a life or death situation. So, and even though we got Mr. Rucker in the comments talking about, prenups this and prenups that, what's interesting is that women generally fare worse in divorce than men do. And men generally are able to recoup and to get back into the swing of things after they get a divorce than women are. So yeah, I mean, because of the way that women are situated in society, our decisions that we make when it comes to that can be super, super detrimental to us. So we are absolutely held accountable to it. And then what's interesting is that when you get people like a Sierra or others who will learn from that dating decision and make better decisions later, you're never able to overcome that and never able to be allowed to forget it in some of these circles. So the thing is that yes, we are well aware, and sometimes we learn the very, very hard way, the extremely hard way of what those dating choices can get us. And again, a lot of times it could be life or death, because this is the statistic that none of them really want to hear about when they're talking about the protectors and people running into the house in the middle of the night and all this other stuff. When in reality, if a woman is going to be harmed 9 times out of 10, if she's going to be deleted 9 times out of 10 is going to be by an intimate partner. The same thing is not true for men. That is true for women specifically. Women are not more likely to be harmed by strangers. They're more likely to be harmed by the person that they chose to date. So yeah, we are very much held accountable for our dating choices, because again, like I say, who we choose to date can have dire consequences for us. So yeah. And with that,
Thank you so much, Cannon. No, shout out your show. Shout out your show before you leave. Thank you so much for joining the panel.
Yes.
Bye, Cannon.
And bringing that. But go ahead, shout out your show. Tell us where we can find you.
Thank you for having me. And you can find Raven and I on the Ladies Room podcast Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have a lot of these similar conversations, just trying to hash it out. We have the male perspective on as well. But yeah, I'll see you guys then, and thank you for having me on. Raven, put our channel in the chat.
Freezy posted it already. So
okay, thank you, Freezy.
He'll keep posting it so that people can join. But thank you so much, Cannon.
Nice meeting you, Jen. Good night, Anna.
You too.
Good night.
All right.
So go ahead, Raven. What you think about this question? Do you think women should be held accountable for our bad dating decisions? Like, let me read Joanna's comment though. I want to say this. Joanna said, yes, I think women should share responsibility for poor dating and marriage decisions, including myself. But M. Rochelle said, but isn't accountability moving on? So go ahead, Raven, chime in. Tell me what you think about that.
I already think, to Cannon's point, we're already held accountable. She was speaking about the mortality rate, and it is not only just physically, but also financially. The Brookings Institute released a paper a couple of years ago saying that Black women are more likely to return to poverty with a Black spouse. So if we keep picking poorly, we're going to keep having the same, circumstances pop up.
Yep.
So I think we are held accountable already if we go by the actual definition of accountability. Um, I think we could do better though, because we spoke earlier about women thinking they have to build a man up and hold him down. I think if we abandon that logic and sometimes abandon the whole black struggle love logic, then we will have better dating outcomes.
I agree. Thank you for that. So what you think, Jen? Do women should we be held accountable for our bad dating decisions and choices?
I think we are held accountable, but to me, I think it's really just about personal accountability. I honestly could, what society thinks about how I move on from a bad relationship doesn't mean much to me. It's about how I choose to accept what happened in a bad dating relationship and what I do personally to change that moving forward. So I think we already are held accountable, but um, more importantly, the accountability, we need to recognize it individually. Like, what role did we play? And it's not always just about moving on, because a lot of times moving on too quickly, we don't really take the time to assess what happened.
Yeah.
At all. Usually we don't. We just jump from one to another because the thought of being alone during that period is like, I can't even think about that. So go from one to another to another. But the accountability is just kind of taking that time to yourself and really figuring out what went wrong, what you want, and you know, looking for that the next time around.
Yeah, not this verbal backlash that they think is accountability. Anna, what you think? Do you think women should take accountability for bad dating decisions and poor decisions that we make in dating?
I'm going to preface my answer with I feel that everyone should be held accountable for their actions because our actions affect other people. So yeah, everyone should be held accountable. Women are not impervious to accountability. We have never been. As a matter of fact, we've been held to a standard for millennia, and we've had our feet held to the fire for millennia since the transatlantic slave trade. Probably before that, realistically. So, of course, women should be held accountable. I think that, again, based on the definition, when a woman raises her child, that's her taking accountability. But I'm of the same mind as Jen when it comes to accountability. I don't care how other people perceive the way I deal with accountability, how I manage accountability, or whether or not I'm taking. That's not a concern of mine. My concern is truly what was I able to learn from a bad relationship, and how can I use that new information, because it's new information, right? How can I use the new information to cultivate better and more successful relationships in the future? A lot of that has to do with therapy. A lot of that, there's a lot of inner work that goes into accountability. Accountability is not just it's not just a verb. It's not, oh, I'm accountable. There's work that comes with accountability, and you have to look within yourself and see, okay, this is where my issues have been sort of coming to the forefront of these relationships and playing out negatively. And then you go to therapy, you talk about it, and you figure out what traumas have been, have been tearing at the relationship, or have been tearing at you emotionally or psychologically. So, of course, be accountable. But again, you have to hold yourself accountable, and you have to know whether or not you have grown and learned and evolved from a situation. It's not really, it's not the priority of others to know, oh, you've grown, you've evolved. You have to know that for yourself. I think the good thing with Black women specifically is now that they're becoming more choosy. And I hope that this trajectory, I hope that this trend, it becomes embedded in the culture where Black women are dating out, and we're sort of expanding our options and continue to get educated and things like that. I think that as a result of that sort of cultural shift or interpersonal shift, because that's how, you know, you relate with other people of other races, I think by default we'll be able to make better dating choices. I think that Black women focusing on themselves, their self-esteem, self-love, self-care, all of these things are going to lead to better dating choices. But the answer is obviously yes.
Oh, sorry. So, and I want to read what Shakara is it Chakra Love. She says, if you don't take accountability, you will get the same partner with a different face. And even if you don't take accountability and you try to date outside your race or you try to explore your options, you're still going to have the same issues. So I agree 100% that women, like everyone, especially women, I mean, I'm talking to women, we have to take accountability for the decisions we make. And taking accountability does not mean being verbally attacked by men online. It doesn't mean being shamed. It doesn't mean any of those negative things. It is absolutely personal growth and self-assessment. So it's for me, what I did was I went into a group therapy sessions because I liked group sessions better than individual one-on-one sessions. So I did group therapy and it was really, really, really helpful. Right. And so what it taught me was like to not focus on what the person did to me in the relationship, but focus on my role and my part and what I did, and actually learn how to be different in your next relationship, because really what that person did to you is irrelevant. The relationship is over, it ended. It's nothing you can do about what they did to you, but you can take personal responsibility for your role. If you were selfish, if you were, not as thoughtful sometimes, if you could have been a little bit more loving or caring, whatever it is that you could have done better, you can always get help, work on that. First of all, you can read books. Reading the books are actually the most helpful. Like if you don't know where to start and you're just like, what do I do? Just reading books about marriage, about partnership, about communication, about everything that helps you, even if you're a single person right now who just don't know where to start. I think that accountability is different from what Lori Harvey is receiving, because the verbal backlash, the shaming her, the calling her names, the humiliating her, embarrassing her is not going to make her accountable for anything. And I don't know what warped mentality you guys have where you think that the more I criticize a woman, the more I degrade her, the more I make her feel worthless, the more accountable I'm going to make her. I don't know. I mean, and I don't know if that's even your goal, but I think that what you're doing is not doing anything but showing how much we should not listen to you and how much we should not trust you. And so it's really making the trust like broken, right? And I'm trying to have these conversations because I don't think that men understand how broken the trust is from some of the conversations that we hear and how we hear you speak about women, other women. And so when we hear you degrade women and talk about women who are doing things that are absolutely normal and it's nothing wrong with it, or even when we see you over criticize men for marriage choices or relationship choices, it's really a turn off. So we're trying to figure out, okay, what are you hoping to accomplish? Because what it's not doing is not making Black women or women want to um, be submissive or or wanted to just be desperate and marry whoever. Like it's doing the actual opposite. And it's like, okay, I need to wait even longer because these men are crazy. Like now women are wanting to not even get married in their 30s. Like I think that it's having the opposite effect of what we think. And the trend is like I mean the Gen Zs are already thinking like, I don't want to get married. Like, so you guys have to think about the impact that this behavior that's like a cultural norm. It's socially acceptable. What it's doing to our society, to our culture, right? And I want to normalize human decency and like common courtesy, because I feel like we have lost that. It's really a simple skill that we literally have lost. We think that we have to comment on everyone's life and we have to hold them accountable. A woman, a man, they hold themselves accountable. You don't hold anybody accountable. You can tell them, hey, that was wrong. But ultimately, they have to do the work to make sure that they heal from and be different in the next relationship. And so I think that you guys have to understand the difference between just verbally attacking someone and holding them accountable. Because I hold my kids accountable. I don't verbally attack them, right? It's a difference. And I don't know. We kind of tiptoe on the line sometimes with that. And they're like, oh yeah, this is holding them accountable. I'm like, no, this is, y'all are just psychos taking your animosity out on people online.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. I hear about this whole Black love movement, y'all, because I really want to talk about this, because Michael B. Jordan and Lori, they were Black love goals, relationship goals. He was so cute. He was buying her daddy gifts, and Steve Harvey was just bragging about them gifts he was getting from Michael B. Jordan. And I mean, it was just so much surrounding this relationship, so much like publicity, which is why people think it was fake in the first place. But this whole idea of Black love, it's like a movement, right? But when I look, I want to get y'all opinion. Is it equally supported by Black men and Black women, though? This whole Black love. And now I'm gonna tell y'all why I asked that, because I see Black women being the ones who support this whole Black love movement more than I see it being reciprocated. I feel like we're always the one that's like pushing for this image of Black love, and we want it to work, and we want this Black love to just be the vision, and it's gotta be like this. So I want to know, is this Black love movement, like, is it necessary? Do we need to like really support this and elevate this as like a different kind of love? And is it equally supported by like men and women? What do you think, Raven?
I think that maybe back in the 30s and 40s, it was something. Now that Dr. Umar is the king of Black love, I think they've lost it. Like I said earlier, I think we have to be intentional about who we date and how we date. Manage your expectations. If you are about community building, because that is what some people are still doing. I'm around Atlanta, it's a big Black area, and a lot of Black people are still trying to do the Black Mecca. If that's what you're on, be intentional about who you're dating. Get you a Black man that loves Black women. Don't just hop from everybody, because all Black men don't love Black women. But get you one that does. If you're not for the community and you're just trying to live your best life, however you want to live it, go get with who aligns with you. It may not be a Black man, it could be a white man, an Indian man. I've told the story before. There's a girl, a little regular Black girl, who was going to this little gas station on Glenwood, and the owner of the gas station and her end up getting married. He's an Indian guy. They moved to live off happily ever after. You can't close off your options because, well, like I said, in Atlanta, it's pretty diverse. So you could bump into a Hispanic man, an Indian man, a white man. I bumped into Austrian men who aren't technically white. I guess they're white. I don't know. But there are all type of men that love Black women. So you don't have to feel like you're relegated to only Black men. And Black men, if you want to date out, I ain't gonna stop you. But like I said, maybe in the 40s, it was
We don't
movement.
stop them. We don't stop them.
I don't even know if we could.
Oh,
But because, like, to your point, statistically speaking, Black men are more likely to marry out than Black women. However, on the flip side, Black men are more likely to divorce their non-Black wives than Black women are likely to divorce their non-Black husband. So I think there is something to it. Like I said, I think now that Dr. Umar is the head of Black love, I don't know if it's going like we want it to go anymore. Because he's the Pan-African king or whatever. I don't know.
This Black love movement. Jen, what you think about this whole Black love movement and, supporting the Black love? What, I mean, do you think that it's something that we still need and we need to elevate this?
I mean, I think I see it more. I think it's necessary for Black people to uplift themselves. And I think when we do it collectively, whether it's just, well, specifically in relationships, that can only strengthen our community. And so for me personally, because I'm not really in social media heavy, so I can really only speak on my circle, but every Black person friend that I have, I know is married or just divorced, but have those beliefs that, of strengthening community, families. And I'm in a relationship with someone who's older, 10 years older than me. And so because of that, I see I don't want to call him older, but he is. So that generation of Black people really like honing in on something that we can learn from. And so when I see like my brother and my sister-in-law and their friends and their friends, and they're all married and they have this admiration for each other that I have for my partner. It's a beautiful thing. And so I think we may see women more hashtagging this Black love thing, but I think that the Black men who have found that what they're looking for with a Black woman, that they're really on this Black love movement as well. And I've dated outside my race on quite a few occasions, and I always felt like deep in my heart that I would marry a Black man. That was, I'm close to my dad. I wanted a man that reminded me of my dad. Um, I wanted that Black man. I believe in Black love. And so I think that the movement is equally supported. It may be supported by men in a different way.
Thank you. That's a great. I think that your circle does kind of make you think differently about stuff, right? Because like even Jen, if we think about like college and some like a lot of people we know, they're married, from college, like
All of them.
Black marriage. It's so many, and it's like it's so crazy because within our circle, there's so many successful marriages that when I come in this space, it's almost like a foreign concept to me because I'm around so much success and love and happiness and like real relationships where we have real conversations and we don't judge each other, not to the degree with we judge each other here in these spaces. But I just think that it's interesting when your circle, depending on your circle, you can have a different perspective on Black love, right? And what that concept means. But I'm curious, Anna, what you think about this whole idea of Black love, this movement, right? Is it supported? Do you think it's supported equally by men and women? And do you think that is something that we should still be supporting and uplifting?
Well, like most things in life, it's not equal. It never has been equal, but I think that so I think with respect to the question, Black women have subscribed to Black love for a really long time. And I think the difference between Black men and Black women is that they're subscribing to Black love to their detriment, whereas Black men are subscribing to other love to their detriment, right? Because their relationships are failing. I mean, astronomically high numbers and rates. So I think that's the sort of dichotomy, which is interesting to me. It says a lot about, it's like psychologically speaking, it says a lot about Black men, how they're reared culturally versus how Black women are reared culturally. But I think that Black love as a culture, Black love as a phenomena, Black love as a sort of way of living or something to aspire to. I think that at this point for Black women, because it has not been equal and because it is to your detriment, I think that Black women should look outside of the Black love, I guess, scope, because it has, for me, I feel like marriage is an economic proposition. You know, a lot of people like, so to me, if it doesn't make sense, then, and I'm talking like dollars and cents, then you need to sort of look beyond that. And that's not to say that that's all marriage is, but largely that marriage is an economic proposition through and through. That's really what it is. So I think that, I think that Black women, you know, Black love is it's an amazing sort of ideal. I think at this point it's more of an ideal rather than something to aspire to, or rather than something that's truly attainable. And of course, Black women they're going to continue to date Black men. That's a reality. But I think in terms of success, because when I think of Black love, I think success, right? I think of building, I think of legacy, I think of generational wealth or prosperity, or even if it's, you know, emotional and mental stability generationally. That's what I think when I think of Black love. I don't think, oh, you're with a Black man, Black love. No, that can be an extremely abusive relationship. And then, you know, you can sort of have that relationship under the guise of Black love. But I think that we're at a junction where Black love should mean something. And if it's going to mean something, you should put some more thought into how much it means to you. And you should put some thought into what you're willing to sacrifice for Black love. Black men have always been sellouts. We all know that. So Black love for them has, you know, they historically speaking, they could take it or leave it. But realistically, because of the lack of access to others, that's really sort of been an impediment for Black men. But once that barrier, it's been a huge barrier that they fought for. But once that barrier comes down, you know, you're not going to really, Black love is going to really, it's going to be a thing of the past.
Thank you, Anna. I agree. I agree with a lot of those points, because I do think that it hasn't been equally supported. And I do think Black women are more limited, especially in the people who we even choose to date, the options that we have. And so we've kind of supported this movement to our detriment. And it's almost like we've limited our entire dating pool to, you know, just people who look like us, and we haven't really had more expectations for ourselves and more boundaries. And I'm not saying that you should date outside of your race and that like that's going to cure all and be all, but what I'm saying is that you should absolutely, you know, open and expand your options and make sure that you're giving yourself the best pool and not just limiting to, you know, I want my babies to look like have my same skin tone or something, like, you know, sometimes we say stuff like that, as opposed to really just thinking about the character. Because trust me, if you don't have children, I don't care what color your kids come out, you're going to love your children regardless. I don't care if they come out green. It's your child. You're going to love your children with all your heart. So I think that we shouldn't limit ourselves based on skin tone, and we should explore our options across the board and not do it for self-hating reasons, right? Don't date because you don't like your skin or you don't like people who look like you. Date because you just want the best outcome for yourself in your life. You want your children to have the best success. Like, you want to change the way, the pathology, the things that's been happening that we see happen, right? You want to stop patterns and cycles. So I think it's a different reason why you should explore your options, and why this whole idea of Black love is kind of like, it's great. And I do think that if we can preserve the Black family, because I think the Black love movement is all about, you know, preserving our race, right? And you know, there's estimates that say that there will be no Black people in like the year 2052, something like that, right? They think that Black people will just no longer be. There'll be biracial people and a lot of mixed culture individuals, but I think that Black love is surrounding this idea of preserving us, right? Preserving our race, creating families so that we can create children that, you know, are Black, right?
I love that you said that, Mona. I love that you said that, because a lot of people, I don't want people to misunderstand me. Like, if not to date Black men and then date other men and your problems are solved.
Right.
In a lot of cases, sometimes the issues lie with social, the way that Black women are socialized, and behaviors that we're socialized and conditioned to accept. So you have to do the work, and because you're going to have garbage, narcissistic white men, Asian men, Indian men, like terrible men exist in all cultures and races and religious denominations and creeds. You're going to probably statistically find more Black, but if you're used to dating a certain type of man or type of person, more than likely you're going to date that same type of person, even when you look outside your race. So do the work. Don't assume that white is right, because believe me, white can be wrong. Once you go white, sometimes you'll never be right. So you have to be careful. You have to do the work.
That's right.
And I love that you said that.
Well, I wanted to I want to give Haran and Freezy some opportunity, but I want to shout out Chakra Love, because she's been saying some stuff that I really appreciate. And Chakra, she said, go wear your love and celebrate it. Absolutely. So if that's Black, go with Black. If that's other, go there. I mean, but make sure that your love and appreciate it, and make sure you have boundaries and expectations for yourself. That's the most important. But shout out to her, shout out to Joanna. The people right out of slavery were building and not so much love. They were about respect and practical reasons, and that worked for them. Okay. Okay, you have to expand on that, because I
don't know about that.
Yeah,
Raven addressed her, so thank you, Raven.
Yeah. Oh, Raven said people fresh out of enslavement also had Coke in their soft drinks.
Yeah, there was also lithium in makeup. I don't know why we keep looking back at the past as if they weren't also high as kites. Come on,
that's not the measuring stick. I feel like people need to move on past, they're so in love, they romanticize slavery. It's you need to move past that, because
they were getting strung up like strange fruit. Come on now, y'all.
Exactly.
You want to go back to that time?
Yeah. So Haran and Freezy, but Haran, you've been waiting for a minute. What you got to say about this topic? Because we've been talking about Lori Harvey. We didn't answer a few questions. I got an overall question for all of us, but what you got to chime in and say, Haran? Because you've been saying some stuff in the comments. I saw you.
First of all, hello to everyone on the panel.
Hi, Haran.
Hello.
Hi, Freezy.
Hey. First of all, I don't think the concept of black love is beneficial to the community as much so as practicality in building a system. I think we need to go back to a lot of conservatism. Now, this is not to say that we can't care for each other and we can't work together and so on and so forth. I mean, when you go to your job, you don't necessarily love your coworkers, but you understand that you all are on brand for a particular mission. I think that the community should work in that aspect. A lot of times when you bring the concept of love in the situation, you bring all these just unattainable ideals, these just insane expectations, and to be honest with you, right now, there's just too many financial and emotional imbalances for us to sit here and even consider a very liberal idea such as love. And the idea of community in itself was never based on love. Okay, if we go back to, humankind centuries ago, this was about survival. Okay, so it wasn't about love and the concept of it, and all those things are just kind of progressive ideas and constructs that we don't really need per se to live. You need food and water, and people capable of garnering resources to live. You need shelter. You need to be a functioning member of society to live. But in terms of the Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey situation, first of all, I thought it was a publicity stunt from the jump. Whatever. Maybe
Right.
I'm just that cynical. Whatever. But for the sake of the topic, look, man, this is about money. This all boils down to money. And to be honest with you, if you ever have any problem in life, you find out that it usually boils down to money. You know what I mean? It's particularly even marriage. When marriages end, 9 times out of 10, it was because of something financial.
Wait, but you
Oh, I,
think the Lori and Michael B. Jordan
no,
situation
no, 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 no,
was
no, no. I
about
don't think
money?
their
Oh,
situation.
oh,
I don't
okay,
think
okay,
their situation is about money. Let me get
okay.
into it. Here's the thing. You know, the concept of monogamy was created because men who weren't who weren't rich, who weren't a part of the, who weren't a part of the aristocrats, so on and so forth, men who didn't have a massive amounts of money did not have, average men didn't have as much access to women and the opportunity to reproduce as men who had money. So let's just say for every one rich guy, he had access to 20, 30 women, leaving the average guy out. So the system was created to make sure that there was some sort of democracy of, and so on and so forth. Okay. You can look this up. Now, not to sound long winded, the problem here is that the system was actually based on a number of things, and it was kept in place because financial power was pretty much the main thing that men had over women. Okay, a lot of times that men want to when they want to talk about going back to the 1950s and so on and so forth, we have to keep in mind that yes, women did not have access to bank accounts. Women did not have the financial opportunities that they had before with the advent of feminism and so on and so forth, and the progression of that. Then women were allowed to, enter the workforce. Women were allowed to seek a degree of independence, yada yada, so on and so forth. We have arrived at a juncture in society where women
One more minute, okay,
financially,
Haran? One
yeah,
more
no
minute,
problem.
okay? No problem.
Yeah, we've arrived at a juncture in society where women don't need men as much as they did before financially. So that opens the gate for them to have the leverage, the upper hand, and a lot of men have an issue with that. So I'll leave it at that for right now.
Yes, I want the panel to respond, but I want to give Freezy. Hey, Freezy.
Hey,
What's
Tawana. What's up, Annalicia? What's up,
how you
Haran?
doing?
What's going on, Bobby?
Chilling.
So, Freezy, what you think about this whole
It's a mess.
Lori
It's
and
just a
Michael
mess.
B.
That's what it
Jordan?
is.
No, let's
It's
talk
just
about your question though. Let's talk about your question. Talk about so should men just smash us and not take us seriously just because Lori didn't reject it Michael B. Jordan? Is that kind of what
what
you was trying to say? I'm trying to figure.
I was kind of being funny with my question. I admit that. But the thing about it is the reason why I asked the question is because Lori Harvey is getting a lot of praise for being this woman who's making her own decisions, choosing who she wants to be with, not being pressured into going into marriage, right? But on the other hand, I've been in discussions where there's been problems with black men committing, right? So it's like black men are getting they're getting twisted twisted messages here. Yeah. Okay. So how I see it is, I actually don't blame Lori. I keep wanting to say Lori B. Harvey. Lori Harvey. I don't blame her. I really don't. I just feel like um, I think Michael B. Jordan was headed in the right direction with the wrong woman, and that's no slight against her, but it's very important to be intentional. We always talking about being intentional in these spaces, and to me he just dropped the ball. If he wanted to get married, he should have, and I think one of you fine ladies said this on the panel. He should have had this discussion with her in the beginning. I mean, he's in the industry. It's not a military secret how she moves. So I just feel like I put most of the onus on MBJ, because if his desire was to get married, he should have vetted her for that. He should have been intentional, but I think he just got caught up in all the glamour and the fame, and he's seen, how well it was working out, and just like Haran said, in the publicity, in on camera, he wanted to seal the deal and wanted to, I guess, be a power couple. I think that's what he was aiming for, to try to be a power couple, to kind of raise his value and possibly hers as well. But she wasn't on that. She wasn't on that bullshit. She living her best life. So I just feel like I put most of the onus on
So
MBJ.
what was he about to do? Because I feel like people said he was about to propose. Is that your understanding? Is that what you mean? But he was on the right path.
Well, he wanted to get married, right?
No, I don't see. He's never confirmed that was even what was.
Oh, okay. See,
People are just assuming that he wanted to marry her, but he didn't propose to her. She didn't reject his proposal. It was nothing like that. So I think that is all speculation that's being said.
Okay.
I don't know for sure that he was ready to marry her. She, from what I understood, just didn't feel compatibility, didn't want to move forward. And that's all that's been said. And that's not even been said by Lori. That was just kind of said by one of the spokespeople associated. So I'm just trying to figure out, what exactly, where do we get this whole idea that Michael B. Jordan was on some great path to,
well, if he didn't want to marry her, or if that was just speculation, I rescind my statement. I
don't know that to be true. Yeah, I don't think that's true, actually. And so let me address this JB comment, because Lori Harvey is not just a regular light-skinned girl, and that's it. Like, that's not true at all. I mean, I don't know why he's saying that, because she is a self-made, like, she's an influencer, she's a model, she's fit, like extremely fit, which you guys say that Black women are overweight. So how are you saying that she's some regular light-skinned chick when regular light-skinned chicks are overweight, according to y'all? So she is definitely not. She has a high status because she has her own money, her own wealth, her own access. Her father has a high profile. So stop saying she's some regular.
Well, let's just call a spade a spade.
She's actually very beautiful, and as well. And
let's just call a spade a spade.
Hold on, Freezy. Why are they calling? What makes her a hoe? Like Black men don't understand. Like they don't understand. You are the most promiscuous group of people on the planet. It's you, Black men. Forever. It's been that way forever, since you came here, since before. Like, what makes her a hoe? What makes someone who's intentionally saying, you know what, she's dating, she's having fun, this is not for me? This is the problem. You're used to women who are like penguins. You want Black women to be penguins. You want us to mate for life. You want us to be one and done. You want to lock us up somewhere like Rapunzel. Like, it's enough. Stop exposing your weak
listen to
and
this
low
comment.
self-esteem.
Listen to this comment. She's a model, no degree, no education. Now,
I thought we weren't supposed to be PhDs. What's happening here?
I thought they didn't even want us to be educated. I thought that was the thing.
I do not approve.
How do we know she has an education? What do we even know about this woman? They keep calling her a hoe. No, nobody's even. Have y'all slept with her? If not, you don't know who she's sleeping with. Good Lord.
This man said she has no education. Now, we are berated in this space for having an education, for being supposedly self-made or independent, having money, having wealth. You are saying that because she doesn't have an education, now she's less valuable. Is that like they have nothing else to say? The same talking points they use to discredit us are the same ones they're throwing back at us to say this is the reason why she's a low value woman.
This is where Black men get into dangerous territory. And listen, I'm going to just call a spade a spade. Black men are mad because she rejected him. You know what I'm saying? But you can't get mad. And another thing is, let's be real. She's not an average woman, okay?
Stop it.
Not. She's in a different she's in a different what is it called tax bracket.
Stratosphere,
She's
yeah.
in shape. She's Steve Harvey's daughter, for Christ's sake. Come on, guys. I mean, let's be for
Like,
real.
why
Look,
are they
black
being
men are mad because
unrealistic?
they can't get Lori or someone of her ilk. That's the reality. You're what you would give someone looking like you. First of all, JB, I see what you look like. What you would give, what you would pay if you had the bread to be in the same room with her and have a conversation to actually see how educated she is. I would love to see that. What you would give to bust your dusty nut in her, I would pay to see that. That's the reality. You're mad because you couldn't breathe the same air as her or a woman like her. Like look at you and look at her. Look at you and look at her. And you are representative of black men collectively. Most of them look like you. Most of them think like you. Most of them act like you. Most of them come into the comment section saying things just like you. And they couldn't get someone like Lori Harvey if their life depended on it, and they resent it. They
Can
are
I can
very upset and
Hey,
very
hey,
Tawana?
can
angry.
y'all delete the Lori is a whole comment? Because see,
Yeah,
what
I'm
you're not
about to do it.
what you're not gonna do is like disrespect women in my chat. Like, I don't mind if you have an opinion. You don't have to like women or agree with women, but you won't name call and you won't degrade women. Not in my chat. You can go on over to whoever bussy popping channel you want to go over to, but not over here. Like, we don't do that. So
I
don't
You
don't
know
care if
what?
you're
I
a
will say
professional,
this.
sir. You are
I will.
professionally murked. You're
I will say
murked,
this.
sir.
I will
That
say
is your
this.
profession. You're professionally
I
mingled and finished. You're murked. Just
I
stop it.
would.
Don't
I
play
would
with
tell
it.
people. I often tell men this. I tell a lot of people this, man. Be careful of how you talk about people, and be careful how you talk about women, because I'm pretty sure somebody out there got a story about your mama or your grandmama. You know what I mean? That wouldn't sit well with you. You know what I mean? So to call this woman all these names and so on and so forth, and to behave just just traumatic like this is really embarrassing. It's just
yeah. And
flat
I
out
mean,
embarrassing, man. It's just flat out embarrassing. I really don't understand why, what I mean, this is just that huge of a topic for everyone. I mean, hey, what I mean, it didn't work out for them, so on and so forth. I don't know these people. I only know two things in life. I'm black and I'm gonna die. That is the only two things I know in life. I don't know these people. I don't know what they're into. You know what I mean?
let
But to sit here and call her a hoe or him an emotionally unavailable person, I don't know these people.
That's
not in
right.
my chat. We're not gonna call people no names. Like, I'm not gonna even let y'all call men names. Like, don't do it. Just say your comment, respond to the topic, but stop being offensive. Like, decency. Just practice decency and human interaction. Stop it, y'all, because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the degeneracy. I'm not gonna let it happen in my chat. Now, y'all
Why
can go
y'all
ahead.
mad though? I'm just
So
saying.
let me let Joanna
I'm gonna
respond
tell. I
because
know exactly why everybody.
hold
I
on, hold
know
on.
exactly why the men are mad. I know
Yeah,
exactly why. When you come back
one
around to
minute.
me, I'm gonna tell
One
you.
minute though, I want Joanna to respond. I want to highlight Reese from Philly. Hey Reese, he says, Joanna, you do have a point. I've heard guys say women shouldn't be so worried about education and they should focus on family. Yeah, they say that all the time. Now the men are saying she ain't educated enough. Stop it. Y'all need to stop it. She doing exactly what y'all want her to do. She's fit, beautiful, and whatever else, y'all friendly. That's it. She must be real friendly because she dates all the men. Okay, they all love her. So stop it. And go ahead, Joanna. I want to hear what you got to say about this. And welcome to the panel, honey. It's nice to see
Hey,
you.
hey, sis, can you hear me?
I can.
I can hear you as well. Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to see you back. And I love the color. It's regal, it's royal.
Yes.
I believe in that. And I love your panel, by the way. I just have to say that. And it's a great discussion. I wanted to clarify because I like to clarify.
Yes,
I
I'm
wanted
glad
to
you came
clarify
on.
thank you. I wanted to clarify my statements about. See, I was responding to your. You had made a question or statement about black love, and I want to make sure in your minds that you see the words black love in quotations when I say that. Black love is what I was speaking on. And my point is not so much as to romanticize slavery, why I brought up slavery. Of course, I don't want to romanticize slavery. I want to pinpoint and for all of us to focus on what worked as far as marriage, since we were talking about dating and marriage. And I'm actually channeling my Tina Turner, you know, energy by saying, what's love got to do with it? In slavery, it wasn't about love. It was about, like Haran noted, it was about practicality. It was about respect. It was about building something. It was about staying together. And if that's what you're talking about, then that worked. And so it's okay to look back at what works and build on that. Now, I'm not saying that we should all go back to slavery, but the numbers don't lie when we say that before the 1970s, people who look like you and I, they got married and they stayed married. Now the conversation about where they were happy or not, that's a whole nother program. That's a whole nother program because see, in the vows, it never talked about to be happy. It was about, building something in a relationship, something that lasts, and community and family. And I hate to, you say don't go back to the past, but Black Wall Street wasn't built on people being happy. It was on people having a vision and having integrity and staying together to create something. God put us here, Miss Tawana G, to be creators. Both women and men, he both created them equal, their own, to play their own positions, to create something. Now, what are we creating? Now, I'm 52 years old. I never knew who Lori Harvey or Michael B. Jordan were until I saw it all on my news feed on YouTube. I had to Google them to know that I think Michael B. Jordan is Michael Jordan's son. Is that correct? And he's a famous director or actor or something.
No.
I didn't know. I didn't know who he was. I may be wrong and who he is, but I don't know who. I don't know these people, and my generation
He
doesn't
is
keep
an
up with
actor.
that.
He is an actor. He was in
You never seen Black Panther,
he was
Joanna?
in Black Panther. That was, but he was in Creed. He was in a lot of movies.
Okay, see,
Michael
I
B.
never
Jordan.
saw
He's
those
a
movies.
headliner.
I am familiar with Steve Harvey, and if my understanding is Lori Harvey is his stepdaughter,
Yes.
his bonus daughter,
He
uh, by
adopted her from what I understand.
with his wife now, Marjorie.
Uh-huh.
So I don't even keep up in those circles. But my point is, I was responding to what about Black love? And
Yeah.
so I'm like Haran when I say, what's love got to do with it? Why don't we focus on being practical? See, love is messy. And I said this in the chat. Love is
Okay.
messy. Love is fleeting historically. And also outside of the United States, people don't marry for quote unquote love. They marry for legacy. They marry for to build wealth and community. And if we're talking about Black people, Tawana, don't you agree that our community is lacking? And so we do need to go back and look at what those people who had less than we do now, those people right out of slavery, they had less than what we do now, but they had a community and they had family that lasted. And so I would like for us to speak on that real quick, since a couple of you said, well, I don't know about why she's going back to slavery. It's not that I'm
Yes.
going back to slavery, beloveds. What I'm saying is, let's look at what worked, at the structures that worked,
Yes.
and where are we now, and what can we do about that? Is that something that's lost and we're all out here for ourselves, or is that something that we can look at and see if we can recreate? All right, and I'll take my response off. I'll
Yes.
stay here if
Yes.
you don't mind.
Yes, please stay because Raven, she's gonna respond, and I want Annalicia to respond. But go ahead, Raven.
Yeah, I'm gonna give my little piece and get up out of here. It's getting late, and
No problem.
I am married, and I
And
do
I'm
love
gonna be
God.
wrapping up in a minute too, y'all. But go ahead, go ahead, Raven.
I do think we should respect the past and where it has gotten us, but I think romanticizing it is extremely counterproductive. Slavery did a number on Black people, and it produced a lot of trauma bonds. We can say, oh, look, they had a higher marriage rate, but Black women have worked for centuries and just became able to get access to financial freedom in the 1980s. We just were allowed to get bank accounts. So we can't say, oh, they were married because they had a plan. They could have been married because if they weren't married, they wouldn't be able to have access to their money. So not only that, but like I mentioned earlier, there was cocaine and soft drinks, lithium and makeup. People were taking barbiturates to get sleep at night. So we can't pretend, oh, this was just a happy time and everybody was focused on structure and building. No, people were high as kites. Marital rape was not illegal. We can't pretend like, oh, they were just focused on peace and building, because that's not the case. And I think Black women, you guys can disagree, it's up to you guys, but I think Black women have earned the right to have love in our marriage. We have earned the right to have happiness. We have earned the right to prioritize those things. Black women have been the workhorse since we've been here. So we can't keep saying, oh, well, we just need to put our peace and happiness and love aside and work more. No, we deserve love and happiness in our marriage, and I don't think we should sacrifice it. But we're on the ladies' room every Wednesday. So y'all check us out next week. And we do Clubhouse episodes. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Raven, for being on the panel. I appreciate you. I want y'all to come back. I love y'all perspective. Y'all know that I be all in your chat. But watch them on the ladies' room, y'all, on Wednesday, and they really do have some great conversations. And I'll see you next time, Raven. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. Good night, guys.
Bye.
Much respect, Raven.
Yes, Anna, did you have a response to that? Oh, I wanted because she was initially talking to Anna and Ray.
I wanted to say something to somebody in the chat.
Oh, okay. We'll let you go next. But Anna, did you have a response to the slavery conversation and your ideas about that? Anna. Okay, we'll let Anna come back. Go ahead, Freezy. Who were you? Which comment were you?
Yeah, I wanted to respond to short and fat guy. Listen, the comment that got deleted. Listen, he said something about Freezy. Don't let the ladies do this. I don't know what kind of impression. I don't even know this dude, but I don't know what kind of impression he got. Listen, I'm not just a man.
You talking about the troll account?
Don't do. I don't know if you're a man or a woman, but don't do that. I'm not an advocate just for men. I'm an advocate for Black families in general. So please do not represent me like that in the comment section, bro. Okay, I'm not this incel representative. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know what kind of impression you've gotten of me, but I'm not that guy. Okay, I'm a reasonable guy that loves Black family and Black community. That's it in a nutshell. I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you. Hey, OG Patrice, thank you so much for joining. Everybody, JB, even you, JB, you talking crazy, but welcome, JB. Chaos, how are you?
Hello.
I want to give you the floor. You got a comment for us, or you got something?
Hi, man. I'm not sure why people are obsessed with Lori Harvey. I did content on it personally. And now that I'm finding more and more evidence of that side of the family that Steve Harvey got himself into, I said, oh hell no. Oh no. He's married to a trap queen.
What?
Yes.
Now we gonna get on her mama too. Not only are y'all getting on Lori, y'all about to get the mama, huh?
But let's be real.
But what's wrong?
Her mom teaching her daughter something, and she's doing something out here that, it's getting her attention. I mean, that's how Hollywood thrives. That's how you work in this business. You gotta get attention. No attention, no money.
Okay, but have Marjorie and Steve been in a successful marriage for almost 10 years now, though?
When they got married, was it 2012 or 2011?
I don't remember exactly, but it's
almost. We should be exact what year they got married to know the time. I don't want to be this complex as 10.
My phone died, so I can't look it up. I usually be able to look up stuff, but what? Okay, so my question is: they have been in a successful marriage and have been able to maintain this successful marriage for this length of time. So why criticize who he chose to marry? it clearly works for him. What do we get out of making fun of a man for choosing to be with someone that they want?
Well, the question has to be asked: if a woman chose, I guess, a trap dude, would that be because? And it's like a few years. Would that be considered excessive marriage?
I mean,
If it was reverse, if it was reverse.
some people will call Gucci Man a trap king, and I mean, he married Keisha, and actually people love that whole dynamic and relationship, and people respect that marriage. And she actually had children before Gucci met her, and honestly, nobody will call Gucci a simp, not to his face. I bet you that.
Which Keisha is this again? Is this the one with the tattoo on her chest?
I don't know what she got on her chest. I just know that that's his wife.
I'm trying to know who Keisha. I know Keisha.
So what I'm saying is there is room for people to accept non-traditional unions and relationships. I think we talk about it like it's so taboo, but yeah, maybe Marjorie made mistakes in her past, but she married Steve Harvey and they got it right. He adopted her
Actually,
daughter.
Steve Harvey was the ticket any woman would dream of, from her, I guess, past.
Steve
And
Harvey married 4 other women before Marjorie.
Steve Harvey personally, because he wrote a book on this personally about think like a man or whatever. And yeah, he has married, divorced, or whatever. I have no problem with people that got married, that have kids, and they're married. Nothing's wrong with that. As I always look at the track record, I say, I guess she's a very appealing woman. So I guess, besides her past, I mean, some dudes might think otherwise, but like I said, I could see why Steve married her. I mean, she brings something tangible to the table. So,
yeah, I mean, I think that for a group of people who have failed at marriage, like just Black people in general, our marriage rates are incredibly terrible. Like
failure is a necessity, Tawana. Unfortunately, I don't want to say that it's a necessity. You're not gonna escape it. We're not gonna escape it.
All I'm saying is that our divorce rates are higher than normal, right? So when you look at this, like divorce rates of all
women.
No, not Black women.
Women initiate the divorce, but yes,
Black men, not only Black women who divorce y'all. When y'all go to other races, they divorce you too at higher rates than we do. So
I said women initiate divorce, so we say it's
because women
women
should initiate divorce because we are the ones who are murked every 5.5 hours, especially by domestic partners. We are the ones who are in the most danger. We are the ones who are financially unsuccessful when we do divorce. I mean, like, of course, like we should. I mean, what are you talking about? Of course, I don't care that I think women should be initiating, especially when you're a terrible partner. But let me just talk about your point.
But the 5.5 hours is
for us, we have the worst. Like, you probably have never even been married, right?
No, I haven't been married yet.
So you haven't been married, but you have a lot to say about married couples who are successful. And you don't know what it takes to be married because you yourself have not been married.
But what is success? That's the question.
A success is couples who are deciding to stay married, even through all the issues and drama that comes with marriage, all of the difficulties and challenges. They have decided to stay married and partner through that all. And we need to have respect for that union. We as a culture need to have respect for people's union and stop criticizing people's union when you yourself couldn't even do it. You don't even understand. You don't even know what it takes to be married, but yet you have so much criticism for people who are doing it. That's what I'm saying. Even Will and Jada, y'all don't know nothing about marriage. You don't know because you've never done it. And until you do it, don't even open your mouth. Just like keep it closed. Keep it closed. Because marriage is a sacrifice and it's a lot that goes into it. And people who fail at it, who don't know what it takes to be married, who haven't had a good track record, should keep their mouth closed and learn from people who are doing work. That's what I'm
You know what?
telling you.
It
I
takes
so appreciate you saying that. I so appreciate you. I agree with you, Tawana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, smart.
Chakra says I was saying, I'm trying to really have I really want to have the conversation and help people see it from a different perspective, because I think we get in these spaces, we tend to be overcritical of people because we really don't understand what it takes to do what we are doing. And I'm married. You know what I mean? I'm married. And what I'm saying is, like,
For the first time, right?
we don't have respect for the union itself. And I mean, I don't really want to get into what my marriage is like. I'm just letting you know that I am married. But as a culture, we tend to have less respect for people because we don't value their partner or their choices. But you don't need to worry about other people's choices. You need to respect the union. The union. Because regardless of who you think that person should marry, they married who they wanted to marry. And it's not your choice. It's not your life. So let that person live their life. And if they're in a marriage that makes them happy, your opinion can be.
But if they're
Choose
happy,
differently for your life. Choose differently for your life. Focus on who your partner is going to be.
If they're making
other people's opinions about other people's marriages is a moot conversation. Yeah, I agree.
It is. It's just like, what is your point? You're telling someone you've never been married. You're telling someone who is married who they should not be married to.
I say you should not be married, but when I find the tracker, I say, oh,
this is Kevin Samuel's son or nephew, maybe.
Steve, I mean, what's his name? Steve Harvey found some that was with her, and I guess they're making it work as best possible. I think one thing with Steve, with Marjorie, because I think they were married at the time, he was running from some serious financial issues that could have gone in prison, but he had to change directions. And during that same time, his wife suggests that he go what they call the mainstream around 2011, 2012, which is a decade later. So the one thing with his choice, regardless of why I know about this trap queen thing, which is a problem, but at least it's working out for him because he's benefiting substantially from this. So I'm not knocking, say that, he shouldn't marry. But when I look at what Steve's story of how he almost got himself in some deep, serious crap, and his wife, not only stood by him, but suggests that he should go mainstream, it is somewhat beneficial to him because it's a good investment. Because we see that what Steve Harvey is now. Now, not every marriage is going to be like this, because as you know, women do walk out for a reason, and it is what it is. But like I said, things could work, but people have to allow it to work because nothing's perfect.
We comment on
marriage is work, and that's one thing.
Okay, I understand, but we comment on people like Steve Harvey and his marriage. He's been married since 2007, but we don't say anything about the Nick Cannons and the Future of the Worlds and the people out here just like
Nick Cannon not getting married. You see how many babies he's making already? He's not even
they're still on the plantation, going around sleeping with all these women and just impregnate like breeders. So why is
that's a buck mentality?
So much to say.
That's a buck mentality, and everybody should recognize a buck. If he's having more than one woman, we all know that person ain't gonna be selling that one person. The only time you might see Future.
At the same time, you need to have respect for marriages and unions. If you want to actually shame certain behavior, right? Or at least highlight that this behavior is socially unacceptable to us, you should at least be respectful of the behavior that you do want to see mimic, that you do want to see people begin to participate in. But yet you guys tend to, if a person doesn't meet whatever these fake weird qualifications that Black men have about women, whatever qualifications that you feel this woman don't meet, y'all tend to degrade the marriage and the union, regardless of how successful it is, regardless of what's going on in the marriage. You tend to be critical of that. And I don't understand how you think people gonna catch on to, we're shaming this behavior, but we want to support this behavior in our community. Like, when are we going to start to highlight that marriage is a preference? Like, we want we want
That
black
people should be
people
married more,
to be
correct?
married. But we if you want to
I mean,
degrade
people
it,
should get married. People should get married more.
but if you're
But like I
degrading
said,
every
people
choice,
chose not to want to get married. As you
yeah,
know, Tawana, because what's the average on 30%? So right there, that tells you most men and women by default don't want to seek no marriage. Let's be honest. If we're
yeah,
going to do by the numbers. And I wish that it's different, that we should at least attempt it. And if it works, good. If it fails, try to work it out. If it don't work out, move on. It's that simple.
yeah.
But we don't want to do that because there's too much fear factors. You hear the dudes complain, say, I don't want to give her none of my stuff. I say, so you want her to be in a marriage for a certain amount of years and don't get some out of it?
Yeah.
That is selfish. But
Well,
we live in very much
you know what? You know what? I want to have a man panel, because I had all women and then I let the men kind of chime in. I want to have a man panel next week, and I want to talk about some issues, and I'm going to invite you back, Chaos, okay? Because of course, I'm going to have Freezy, I'm going to have Haran, I'm going to ask y'all to come back. Man of Prestige, thank you so much for coming. Man of Prestige, y'all go follow him, go subscribe to his channel, listen to his content. He really does have some great content. But I want to have a man's panel, because I really want to ask y'all some tough questions. I need to get to the root of this conversation, because even Freezy, you said some stuff, I'm like, no, I need to get into what Freezy said. So we gonna have this conversation on a little deeper level. But what I want to do right now is I kind of want to close the show out. I want to thank everybody so much. Hey Tristan's coming up. I want to ask one last question. I want everybody to kind of chime in, ask this question, and then we're gonna close the show out. Do we think that verbal backlash is going to be enough to shame women into submission? Because what is happening with this whole Lori Harvey situation, all this, like, it's just a lot of verbal backlash, a lot of fear tactics that's being pushed. And I want y'all to explain to me why you think this happens. And do you really think that ultimately women are going to say, you know what? Let's just listen to these men. Let's submit. Let's do what they're asking us to do, because the fear of the verbal backlash is so great that we don't want to risk that reputation being damaged. Is that the goal? And anybody can start. I just really want to hear.
Should I start?
I think the goal should be to build. It shouldn't be fear-based. It shouldn't be the fear of some sort of backlash, although shame historically has kept people in line. I don't think it should be fear-based. It should, because fear speaks to our lower selves. It should be a desire for something greater within us. It should be a desire to want more of ourselves and our lives and to fulfill our purpose. Again, I will keep saying this. We were put here on earth to be creators together. We cannot do it without one another. So we shouldn't really necessarily act on our fears. And I know I probably have said this before, that we probably should bring shame back, but that's not really what I mean. What I mean is there are certain behaviors that work and there's certain behaviors that don't work across the board with both genders. And let's aspire to what works. And I'll let everybody else speak.
Thank you so much, Joanna. Go ahead, Chaos. I know you wanted to go.
This thing with submission, I've been hearing seriously, been fooling around for the last almost 4 years on YouTube around certain space. I never understand, conceptualize it, but as I sit back and listen to more, I can see why the dudes are bringing it up. My thing is this: shame worked for the last couple of decades. I think in the 21st century, it's going to take more than that to really get people back in order. And it's going to take a collective, a team effort from different genders to make anything of effectiveness, to make people, I guess, back in order, or you want to call it submission, if there is such a thing. And if that's not going to happen, if that's not what's being laid out and people practicing, you're not gonna get nobody to do anything personally. You know, I can tell people will call other men certain things, and it might hurt some feelings, and it might be fighting words, but it has not made a way where people are going to say, "All right, I hear enough. I'm going to submit my will, and I'm gonna follow." It don't work like that. You could do that back in the 90s and maybe early 2000s, but in this part of the 21st century, it's not going to be effective. It's going to take each individual work from different genders to make an emphasis and go hard where everybody's saying it and push it with action. If it's not those two, it's not going to work.
I'll say this: shaming someone is an act of desperation, and truly powerless and desperate people attempt to use shaming as a last resort. You're only going to change minds through consequence or benefits. That's it.
Right.
See, the problem that most people are having, and the problem that most men are having, is that most people overall just don't have basic understandings of how to negotiate. They don't understand how power works. They don't understand, consequence. They don't understand compromise. They only understand that, well, this is how the world worked when my daddy was around. So I want it to be this way now, and why isn't working that way? So it's a lot deeper than what I think a lot of people are sitting down and understanding. I really don't think a lot of people really understand the scope of what's really going on. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say one thing. I'm gonna say one thing. I'm gonna say it on the grounds that everyone who is black in this room can understand, because a lot of times people really don't understand unless you explain something that everyone can relate to. Now, let us take white people. The white majority, one of the reasons why they're upset in America, one of the reasons why they're having issues in America currently, is because, unlike their predecessors, the playing field has been leveled to the point where they have to compete with everyone else, and they're behaving violently because of that. They're shooting up shit, they're doing all kinds of stuff. Why? Because now they have to figure out, okay, we don't necessarily have the financial power. We don't necessarily have the power that we have, yesteryear. So what do we do now? I was told that all I had to be was a white male and straight, and the world was mine. That's not the case anymore. Now people have to go back to the table and rethink who they are and come back and see if they can negotiate something. That is really what's going to separate the men from the boys. What do you have now? Now that money isn't the only thing that you can use to hold over someone's head. What can you do?
Get it, Ron. Get it. I like that. I like that. Um, so I don't know if y'all heard me, but my best friend's been on this show, Jen, and she's this is a 20-year friendship, right? Like this is my girl, right? She came and she let us have it, and I love it. I love the conversation. Um, Thank you, Jen. You got to come back now, girl, because you're like a fan favorite or something.
Anytime.
Yes. And so I'd love to hear what you got to say about this. Do you think that, verbal backlash is enough to really shame women into submission?
No, it's not enough. And in all honesty, you know, submission, and maybe the next time we'll have a conversation about that submission, because it's very specific instances where women, wives, should be submitting to their husbands. But I don't believe that a husband behavior, including shaming, will ever get his wife to submit to him. So no, regular women, no, shouldn't just be submitting to men in general. And the verbal backlash, it just is like a very immature way to just basically attack. It's bullying. It's like men bullying women for not fitting into these molds that they want women to fit into. And it's very unattractive. And it's actually really sad to see just the way that Black men have been pretty much attacking this young lady just for being just for doing something different than what they probably would want her to do if they were Michael B. Jordan.
Yes.
So
Thank you so much for that, Tristan. Where you at, Tristan? I know you got some stuff to say. Go ahead and chime in because I know you've been kind of chiming in already. I saw some of your comments, but I'd love to hear what you got to say about
Um, honestly, I think the men just need to be men and call it a day. If it's not working, we'll figure it out like we've always done. I don't see what the issue is because if there's a problem, you fix it. That's how I look at it. So I can't be upset about how the women feel, so on and so forth. Okay, you're upset, I'll fix it. And that's how I think we should all operate. It makes things easier. It's always been put the hammer and the nail and the coffin. That's it. That's it. We're simple creatures. If there's a problem, you tell us, we fix it. I don't think it's that difficult.
That's right. OG Patrice said verbal backlash tactics never work. It's like telling the drug addict to get help. It only happens when the person wants to change. Yeah, like thank you, OG Patrice, because that's the truth. You cannot shame someone into changing. You can do an intervention, but you can't make a person stop. Like it's just going to happen on their own time. They have to do a self-assessment. And so, Freezy, I want to hear what you got to say about this topic. What do you think, Freezy?
Well, I mean, I agree with Joanna and Chaos. Shaming does work in certain cultures and societies, but quite frankly, in this Western modern society, I think it's virtually impossible to shame someone like Lori Harvey. I mean, even bad publicity is good publicity for her. I mean, you just can't do it. You can't do it. So in today's society, I think, I mean, in this Western modern society, we have to take a different approach. We can't, you can't shame women into submission. No, you just can't do it. You can't do it in this society. And I also want to add this. I think that when we get into this situation with Lori, and a lot of women are kind of praising her, we should be careful as well, because we should note that the average black woman, you can't move like Lori Harvey can. She's the results that she can harness is not plausible for most average women. So I want to note that too. I mean, just her branding and popularity alone is going to give her more grace than the average woman. So I just felt like that was important to say, because Lori Harvey, she can do this. She can do that. You know what I'm saying? She can. But the average woman, I don't think they can harness the same results. So moving forward, if you do have a man that is of value and is willing to commit to you, you should think a little bit more in detail about your decision going forward with this man, instead of being more free to say, hey, I'm not ready right now, blah blah blah, maybe down the line. I will say that. But no, you can't shame any woman into submission in in the United States of America. No, you can't.
Someone in the United States, huh? Man of Prestige said, if people feel attacked, they will defend themselves. The defense feels like an attack on the other end, effectively a war zone. I agree, because I think that the women in the space feel attacked, men feel attacked, and so then we start to respond to the attacks, and then it becomes this idea that we're bashing each other, and then it's like, oh, now this gender war thing is like really launching, but it's really just a verbal war, right? It's the battle of the sexes, which has been forever, but the battle of the sexes, I guess for us, it seems like it's so dramatized. It's just happening right now. It's in full effect. But battle of the sexes is a thing that's been forever, right? Women and men have always disagreed. But for right now, I think the way we respond to each other is unhealthy, especially in these spaces. It's very unhealthy, the differences and the way we actually respond to the differences. And so the verbal backlash is a way that I feel like men are using this to scare women into submitting, to scare women into and even you just said, Freezy, like, if you got a nice guy, you probably should go ahead and marry him, right? A lot of men are kind of using that to say, listen, we a dime a dozen. We don't come around that often. If you don't want to die alone, if you don't want to have a little puppy, you might want to marry me, even if I'm not the best option for you or the best catch, because you may not get another opportunity. So I think that the verbal backlash is being used to put this fear into women. It is being used to make women kind of submit and accept and tolerate certain things that they probably wouldn't normally tolerate. But there are just a movement of women. Lori Harvey is an example, right? Of these women who are like, no, I'm not just gonna marry you just because you're 6 feet, you're tall, you're handsome, and you got money. Like, I am not just looking for that in a lifetime partner. Some other things. I think men think that we're going to choose the exterior things over character and over other important values and morals. And it's important for us to have those things as well. Like for women, we think that who you are, your integrity, like who you are as a person matters as well. Like we might get you in the door looking at how tall you are, how handsome you are, how charming you are. But when we find out that you're a thief or a shady person, or you verbally abuse women, or you physically abuse women, like the character matters, right? So I think that we often look at it like, okay, if people fit into this little box, we should automatically highlight them and put them on a pedestal. And that's why I got on Chaos so much for judging Marjorie and whatever she did in her past, because at the end of the day, she might be a better wife for Steve Harvey than any other woman he could have possibly chosen. And you can't sit here and criticize someone because of what you think is a problematic history. You have to look at what everyone looks at, and we look at the character after we get the physical part. Okay, we physically attracted. The character matters, the character of a person, and I think we kind of miss that. And sometimes it take you a little longer to learn people and their character. Like it might have taken Lori about a year to figure out, like, no, I don't like Michael B. Jordan. Like, I don't like the way he moved. And it's okay for her to figure that out after a year. And so I just want to challenge everybody to be a little bit more just respectful to each other. Like, let's treat each other with a little bit more decency. Let's give everybody grace, not just Kim Kardashian. Like, give Black women grace. Give us grace as well. We deserve grace. She deserves grace. If she has dated Future in the past, that didn't work out, and she moved on, and she don't want to be with BJ, fine. She doesn't have to be with him. Give her some grace. Let her move on with her life. She's 25. And so I think that we tend to focus on exterior things when really the character of the person is the most important thing, you guys. The most.
Tawana, do you feel like certain people
I agree,
do have
and I
more
appreciate
options
you
than
saying
others, though?
that, Tawana. I just wanted to also just elaborate that you are not saying that there's something essentially wrong with Michael B. Jordan's character. He just may not have been um, best for Miss Laurie, and that's for her to decide. We're not in that relationship. We don't know what she saw, what she experienced, and that's not to take away from him. She probably did him a favor, and I certainly appreciate you speaking on Miss Marjorie's character. Whatever she had done in her past, this marriage that she's in now is better for her. They've been together for many years. So I just completely appreciate your entire show, darling. Thank you.
Thank you
Tawana,
so
I
much.
agree. I agree with what Jawana said. I actually said that before too. We don't know the dynamics of their relationship. She might have did him a favor, or he might be a different person behind closed doors, and she might have valid reasons for not wanting to go forward with him. We don't know.
You don't
But
know.
I want to ask you this. You don't believe that certain people do have just a gift of having more options than other people as far as social status and
Oh
social
yeah.
climates and
Well,
yeah,
let me
that's
just say, I don't want to
Well, it's called
interrupt, but
privilege.
Go ahead,
Tristan
Jen.
just put a
that's
picture
what I was
of her
saying.
up, and she's stunning.
Yeah,
So,
she
she
beautiful.
Like
She
they
is
beautiful.
talk,
gorgeous.
She
So
they
definitely
talk
somebody
ain't
that
no
literally,
average.
nonsense. Like, oh, I
yeah,
dated people
somebody
like
said she was
Lori. Do you
average.
see her?
She is not average
No, she's
at
not average
all.
at
Like, come
all.
on.
They talking about, oh, she this,
If
she
that's
that.
average,
I
Jesus.
dated women like her. Are you looking? So you
Jen,
blind?
if that's average,
You
Lord
nobody
have
never
mercy.
dated that.
Absolutely, she is not average.
She's
Like
not average.
she may turn down quite
She,
a few more men before she
young
gets to
young woman.
30.
I know why
So
people saying this is average. She young woman, man. She's not average.
She's not. But here's the thing,
I know
Freezy.
why people
We
say she's not average.
absolutely, your actual economic, like socioeconomic status can give you access to like different men, and then not only that, her notoriety or being associated
Right,
with Steve Harvey, that gives her access as well as just kind of her career path, because now she's
right.
an influencer, but she does a lot to keep her body fit because that's what she is, that's her
Well,
brand.
see, that's what
And
I
a
was
lot of
getting at
women,
though.
won't even do that, right? We ain't going to the gym to get fit like that to
Of course, women
have
could
our
do that.
you
But
know.
Tawana, that's what I was getting at though, right? Hold on, Chaos. What I was getting at though, a lot of women are gonna take her blueprint. Women that are not in shape, women who don't have the same socioeconomic status, and still use that as motivation to move the same way. And you can't realistically, you just
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
No,
But
but
can
I
that's
get
the
what
I
you're
mean,
same.
they
Tawana,
saying.
could try to. They could try,
But
brother. They could try.
that's the same thing
Tawana,
with the
Tawana,
But
guys.
like
I
I
don't
About,
told you
think
oh,
that she
before,
has this huge impact on the society and thinking the way y'all trying to say. Like she's a 25-year-old girl, and most women we see that like
Young girl.
like for us, we see it like she's 25 and she's living her life. Like I don't want to live vicariously through Lori Harvey, and I don't think most women like we know, that our lives are different. I think that you guys are seeing
That's
it
why you
as
think
though this
most
is gonna have this
average.
huge impact on women, and it's not, y'all. Like it's not that
I don't
serious. Like
think Michael
it's a
Q should
it's
have
one black
asked for
girl
marriage.
who broke up with somebody because she didn't want to be with him no more, and like we're just trying to let y'all see that this is like super normal, and like even the average woman can date multiple men. Like, do y'all know that? Like,
Of
the
course.
average women get men. Like, so if you're beautiful, you get even more men, or if you have certain features or certain notoriety, you get even more men. So trust me, if an average woman can have several men, what do you think that a woman who looks like her is going to have access to? So you have to understand that it's not like it's a shortage of access to men out here. Lots of
Yeah.
women can get
Um,
men to date them. You
Is
guys
it
are
is it a
very
shortage of good men
very
though?
easy. You guys are very easy.
Is it a
No.
shortage of good men though?
Well,
what's considered good?
yeah. Now, see,
No,
we gotta have a whole
that's what I
nother.
was asking
No,
Tawana.
no, no. Y'all didn't opened up the panel. We're gonna have another show because I can talk about this whole idea of good men. Oh my goodness. Like so, but I wanna close out, y'all, because it's like, geez, we've been going for 3 hours and y'all know I got to go. But I
Almost
love
ready.
this conversation, and I think I need to bring that conversation. Like, what's a good man? And like really, what's an actual good man? Okay, but I want to talk about something even a little bit deeper next week, so I'm gonna come back next week, y'all. I know everybody's like, where's she been? Hey, Anton, thank you for joining. I know everybody was like, where's she been? AJ, where's my boy AJ? Hey, AJ, welcome, welcome, welcome.
AJ.
you
Thank you,
know
Tawana. Bye bye, love.
I don't give enough credit to the men in these spaces who actually support me and who are positive in my life, like AJ and the Freezies and E Black and
Haran and shit. Like I could probably name a million of them. And I think that I don't always Black Man Unfiltered and oh my gosh, just so many. There are so many men in this space who are positive and do a lot for me and actually have my back and have never did anything to violate me in any way. So I just want to say that sometimes I can get stuck on the men who are awful in this space and I don't highlight the ones that are amazing and great and they hate what I say but they still love me and they still treat me with respect. They still think I'm crazy at the same time but have a mutual respect for each other. So I just want to shout y'all out, and let y'all know that I noticed
Hey,
y'all.
look, Tawana, if I can put up with Jen, I can put up with you. You'll be all right.
Thank you. And shout out to my sisters. Thank you, Anna. I know you dropped off. Thank you everybody on the panel again. I can't wait to come back up next week, y'all, because it's gonna get heated. Because now I got some more stuff I want to talk about after hearing these crazy conversations
Can I
today.
just say one thing before I leave?
Yes,
Can I
go
just say
ahead,
one thing
Haran.
before I leave? I don't think personally that Michael B. Jordan should have even asked to. I don't think you should be thinking about marriage as a 35-year-old millionaire right now. I don't think that should be on his mind.
Oh,
I just really don't. I just
oh,
do not. And
that's interesting.
anyone who questions that, think about your question before you sound like a hypocrite. Okay, so
That's
you
an
know what I
interesting
mean?
concept.
Because just like Lori can have her space of choice, what she might have a vision for his life, he could have one too. You know what I mean? But I think that no, you know what I mean? He's 35, he's a millionaire. Trust me, uh, breaking up with this woman, he catches no L's. Like no L's. Like
The
none.
difference is
Like
though,
he's
if he's the one who asked, if he
Right.
did,
right.
that's a difference. So just being a
But that looks
35
that
year old
looks
rich
great on
man
him.
doesn't mean
That
he shouldn't be in a mental space to ask to be married, just like a 25-year-old shouldn't necessarily be in a mental space to say yes to marriage. That just might not be where he
absolutely,
is.
absolutely. But I
Oh, I didn't
was,
see
what I
you,
mean, I was
Anna.
stating on that particular situation. But what I mean, next week, if you want me to elaborate on it, I will.
Oh yeah,
But
he
yeah,
definitely is. Let
that's
me
my
let me
thoughts on
let Anna speak. I didn't know she was waiting backstage. What's up, girl? Let me let
Oh
you
no, what did I
send us off.
miss? We're closing out?
Yes, I
Closing
want you to
statements?
send us off. Yes,
We were
yes.
just gossiping about you, Anna.
Yeah,
I
right.
was not. I do not want that bomb. I
I
was
love you
not.
guys too much for you to do that. I know you really do.
And you
Um,
know that ain't gonna happen on my channel. Ain't nobody gonna
no,
say
no,
nothing bad about you. So it just ain't gonna happen.
no, we're good. I
Yes.
didn't, but what was the final question?
I said, is verbal backlash going to shame women into
Oh, that's
submission?
right. Shame. Yeah, shame doesn't work. What they did with, I don't know if you are allowed to say P, like the P word with the diddlers. I don't know if you're allowed
I
to
don't know.
say
I don't
that.
know if you can. You might be
Don't
able to
say it.
spell it.
Okay, no, no, no. Well, anyways, there's a group of men who violate, um, animals and small humans,
Right.
and they try to shame them, and they just find more insidious and nefarious ways to go about their business. So shame, I don't think that shame would work. And I also don't think that verbal abuse is at the top of the list when it comes to concerns that Black women need to have with respect to Black men. Like physical violence is there as well, right?
Right. Anna, you muted.
Is she know she muted?
I don't think so.
She probably dropped off. Maybe.
Let me see. No, she's still on, but she muted by mistake. She
Muted,
wasn't
Anna.
first. Yeah, she muted. It seems like she just kind of pushed a mute button.
And she probably's not even listening and still going. $5. $5 bet,
I
anyone?
guarantee you. She talking too. She cooking too. She like,
she probably is too.
You
She
know when she
probably
get going, she don't look at the
she
camera and just starts going.
Anna is like, she giving it to us, and we don't know what you're saying, boo. We can't even hear ya. I love me some Anna. Okay, so I got a clear understanding of why y'all was mad at sis, but I think y'all crazy, and I can't wait. And to come up next week. I mean, I'm not talking about this Lori Harvey situation again, but we will be getting into some more stuff. So y'all just stay tuned. Make sure you like this video,
That's right.
subscribe to my channel, and share this video. We dropped some gems today, and I think that people need to hear it. So please, please, please.
And did y'all see how Tawana came back like she never left? Did y'all see that?
I'm a pro. You know what I mean? I'm a pro
I
at
see. For real.
Yes, y'all. I will be back. I had to take a little break. I had some family stuff going on, and I was like busy. I'm sorry. I really feel bad, but I really was busy. And so yes, I am back, and I'm ready to get started. And I'm at 500, y'all. I cannot believe it. I'm so
Congratulations.
excited because I hadn't been working, so I didn't know I was gonna be building, but I'm over 500. And so y'all see me on the community spaces clowning and acting up. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you next week.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats. Good night, everybody.
Good night.